Hey everybody, welcome to the Inkwell Society on Maze Arcana. I am going to do the quick handoff to Nora for announcements for this episode, and I am going to make sure that all the other little technical things are taken care of while you're doing that. And then I'll give out a Idle Champions code, so listen up.
All right. I got no announcements unless you guys have. Would you like to mention your?
The Tuesdays, Dungeon Queens, right after Satine show, twitch.tv/Dungeon Queens with a Z. It's a little bit, it's not as, disclaimer, it's not as like family friendly as this, so keep that in mind. I mean, we don't go way over the line, but yeah, so it's a little bit more adult.
In vague booking, super cool stuff is going to happen, but that's it.
It's the story of our Maze Arcana life. Always cool things are happening. We can't announce them until they exist.
MZA has the NDA.
That's right. Hashtag.
Now you freestyle.
And for those of you who like what we do here at Maze Arcana, we have Sirens of the Realms on Tuesdays from 6 to 9 p.m. All-girl bard band traveling on tour through Faerun. Stuck in the Underdark. Almost died last night. I'm a genius.
Sounds like a party.
Totally a party.
Mm-hmm.
So they're an underground band.
So we
And Jason Charles Miller is guesting for the next couple episodes.
Yay!
Wow.
Lord,
I was, I'll be at Monster Palooza this coming weekend. Our booth's number 2, so if you go in the main entrance and you look left, you'll see us.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm there all weekend.
You do any special characters?
We might do some makeups on Randy, turn her into a witch or something. But,
You know, I said you should just show up with this. Just that's it. That's all people want is the sig. There it is. Boom.
You
Done.
selling anything? Nope.
Done.
Maybe with the lapad hat.
Bad.
Lapad.
How's everybody feeling?
Ready to play?
Yeah, not stressed out at all. Yeah, sure.
Pull every card.
That's why I put on the mellow music for everyone.
Slightly
That's good.
slightly more.
Sirenscape's mellow. So, who wants to do a quick recap of what happened last week? All right. So, last week, we had a very wonderful opportunity for everyone to see the purpose of being on the same page going into any situation, even a library. They were petitioned, I guess. You guys accepted a job to place a book back in a library. Doesn't sound that hard, but there are some complications, and they're only a small bit further along in figuring out what those complications actually entail but we did get a library card. So, the trade-off, it's the DMV of libraries, really. It took 4 hours to get a library card.
We can go check out the adventure in the library, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The actual book. So, beyond that, the last place that you guys had settled, the last scene that we had happened upon as the rest of you leave or are headed to the exterior of the library to make your way on, was Grizz, Harmatio, and Felix heading back in a little bit to check out the tool double doors that stand opposite of the library, a little off the hinges, into a receding darkness beyond that, of which the only information that you guys have gathered from that so far is somebody called it a food court at some point. And then in the process of doing that, somebody leaned in, lost their balance, spun, tripped, fell on their back, and saw the outline of a humanoid-looking figure looking down, saying, "Grizz?" And that's where we're gonna open today, in the silent hollow of this food court. And it's kind of rotting excrement that assaults your nose, more so than everyone else's. Who would like to begin? Okay.
I would like to grab my friend and pull him out of this crazy place.
Okay. So you are looking up at this, basically the outline of a face. Can't really tell what it is. It's just shadowed with more shadow behind it.
Okay.
It does seem like there's a lot of kind of a shimmering white to what you see before somebody snatches you by the leg and pulls you out of the library. Is this something that you want to do, or are you going to try and grab onto the door or anything?
Yeah. So do I see who's grabbing me, or because I can.
Yeah, I would say that it caught you a little bit by surprise to be grabbed, but I don't know that you can't see much of anything yet.
Okay.
Your eyes have not adjusted to this, especially in the panic.
So I guess I do. Who's asking?
Okay, so you go sliding out, getting probably snagged a little bit on the door on your way back in, or on your way out of the library, and pulled into the hallway to see the concerned faces of two compatriots now that light is coalescing in your vision again.
What was that all about?
My friend, we cannot be identified in this place. We must go.
I don't even know who that was.
Yeah, but if they know who you are, we will discuss it outside.
All right.
Okay, so you guys head out.
Yeah.
And now that all of you are composing yourselves outside of the library, outside of the long tunnel, what are you guys doing? What are you deciding? So I'm assuming that we probably started to drop somewhere around the congregation outside of the library of the long tunnel, safely away from the darkness inside the food court and away from all of your merry new friends inside the library. So, what are you guys doing?
I think we should find somewhere discreet, and we need to talk as a group.
I agree with this plan.
Yeah, we all live at the same spot.
The apartment house would probably be a good one.
Roughly how far away are we from our home?
I'm pretty sure that the library is in the same district that you guys have the Wicket Lawn, so that would be Gold Gates, or Gates of Gold.
If I could make a suggestion, perhaps we should go different directions and reconvene in case we are being watched right now.
All right. I'll just start walking away by myself.
That works.
Yes.
Yeah, hook a left type thing. Meander home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody splits up and reconvenes back at the Wicked Lawn. Is there a particular apartment that you guys are settling into?
Who's got the biggest up?
But Grizz is very interesting, but that's okay. We can come to our place. Is that all right with you?
Yes, I guess.
Yes.
Don't
For sure.
touch anything.
Yes, the wonderful decorations you have made, though, they are very beautiful. Yes. Yes. Our home, please.
So then you all make your way inside.
One question, Lossian.
Yeah.
I would like to inspect the book to make sure there is not a hidden clue of some sort inside of it. May I look through the book, please? The dandelion and the sunshine? I don't like put it under a microscope, but I very much is like, is there like any pages stuck in? Is there anything highlighted? Like anything that just jumps out at me is like different than this is just a children's book.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
I don't know. I'm like, that's on the edge of the shelf. I don't know if that should count. Let's see. Seven. A whopping 7.
So you take the book and you kind of leaf through it real fast and you waddle it back and forth and you realize that it doesn't give you any information fast enough to sate your ADD. And that's what you're getting out of what's in it.
He really is paying us just to return a book?
This is stupid.
I will explain some of this to you if you guys want to listen. So, Mr. Teklar, he works for. It's pretty obvious that he works for a bookie, right? A lot of the work that he does and is involved with them is very much below board. It's not the things that the guard want to really. Well, they'd love to know about it, but we would get paid a lot of money for it not to be found out by the guard, right? Basically put, if we work for him, this is a test. This is something a little simple. And then once we've done this, we're going to prove to him that we're worth better jobs and better money. Because while each of us are pretty good at a couple of things, I don't think any of them are especially legal. We will potentially work better and make more money if we all work together. What do you think of that?
Yes, yeah, it's good.
Yes, we've
That
made
makes
it this
sense
far.
the way you
Yes,
put it,
sure.
yeah.
Here,
Hmm?
I'll hand you the card, the library
Oh.
card.
Great. So, with that in mind, there's a couple of things that we need to establish. If we're going to work together on this, there should be some rules, right? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
I like rules.
Great. So, I've done one of these before, and we made not bad money, but I think we could maybe make a little bit more on this. So, first things first, if we're going to work together, we need to actually be honest with each other. All right? Part of that involves Grizz. No more threats about turning me over to people. Because if you turn me over, you turn her over as well. I don't think she wants to be turned over either. Right? If we're going to be making money, we should split it evenly. We all do what we're good at, and we all listen to each other when we have good ideas that are our specialities, right?
Unless someone needs help.
Sure. I'm meaning more when we're talking about things that we know about, we should probably all listen to them. Yeah?
When we are playing to our strengths, yes, this makes sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
So with that in mind, Hermatio, what are you good at?
I would like to just say one thing for my friend. He is being very diplomatic here, but you also cannot be antagonizing Grizz with the card
Yes,
games,
you
and you
do.
lose in the cards, and you cannot do these things.
I haven't done anything with the cards.
It's a teasing. You guys are so sensitive.
He's not polite.
Yeah.
My primary things that I can provide, I am good with the observation, I am good with the investigation of the noticing the clues and how the clues fit together. I would say those are my primary strengths, yes. Reading the people, understanding what they're hiding, what they're not saying, these are good. I read lips. I speak many languages.
What languages?
I know these terrible common tongue, this thing you say. I know Elvish, Gnomish, and a little bit of what is it they would say? The underground language.
Undercommon?
The undercommon. Yes, that's it. That is like a contradiction in terms. It's not common. It's underground. Yes, but yes,
It's
this tongue.
complex.
Yes,
No.
I do speak the gnome. Yes.
Yes. What are you good at, Lucian?
I'm pretty good at the biology stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know plants and things.
Seem to know a way around a few corpses, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm fairly well versed in most of the religions and religious practices and funerary rites. I'm pretty good at seeing things. Oh, and I know how to use swords and bows and a little bit of magic.
Ooh.
Oh.
What sort of magic? The things you can do?
Illusion.
Show me this
Tell me.
thing. What do you mean the illusion? I don't understand.
Just like this. Let's make a little illusion of a heart. Like that.
Oh, that was creepy.
So you
Yeah.
make a little, you're making basically like a large diagram of what a heart looks like. What kind of heart?
Human.
Okay.
3D human heart. Spin it around. Let it pulse a little bit.
Okay. So it throbs kind of above your hand.
And just leave it there.
Just leave it sitting, like floating right there in front of you.
Last a minute.
Okay.
That is magnificent.
It's weird, but it's nice.
I know you've done a bit of work for Teklar. Are you actually familiar with much of the criminal involvements around here? A
Only
little?
when they hire me. I mean, sometimes people need to get patched up a little bit. I can
Mhm.
help with little things like that. I usually work with, well, someone I'm not allowed to talk about right now, but he does a lot of big surgeries, and yeah, I know some people over at the club. I worked with them quite a bit.
Great. Rose, what would you say your skill set is, other than your amazing voice?
Not being in this poo-poo place.
Yeah, you're
I'm-
doing
I
great
hate
at
it
that.
here. But I talk to people.
Mhm.
You know, I can convince people of things. I'm not from here, obviously, but you know, in places maybe higher up, I could probably get around better than this dirty place, these common people. I do a magic trick.
Oh?
I look at Zaylin and I point and I whisper. I like whisper something under my breath, but you hear it. You can hear it from all the way, like I'm talking into your ear. I can send messages. It's my magic trick.
Oh.
It's very impressive.
Thank you. And I know my way around a proper library and nice places where nice, fancy people go.
I wish there was a proper library here.
Yes, me too. But yeah, I have a way with people who, the higher ups and whatnot.
And you are a genius with the bureaucracy, with the knowing in the forms in the offices and the things.
Oh yeah, I went to school a lot.
Yes.
It was fun. I love learning.
All right. From the sounds of it, you're pretty good with the high society stuff, so that would be pretty handy for us.
Yes.
I have no idea what kind of skill set you do.
Well, despite my appearance, I'm actually very sneaky and inconspicuous,
All right.
which can get me into some places without people knowing. And I know that you've seen that I may mimic some people, but there's a little more to that, because if I follow people enough, and I'm very good at following people, if I follow them long enough, I can learn their language.
Huh.
How many languages do you know? I know some languages too.
Well, right now I know 3, but if I stay with somebody long enough, I could pick up on.
What are the ones that you speak now?
Well, other than common, naturally, it would be Goblin and Dwarvish.
Me too.
Oh, good. Maybe we can go split up sometime, and if we're
I
on a
like
mission.
it.
We stick with us. We will teach you the Elvish language is a real language. How to
Halfling is cute, also.
the furry feet play.
Do you learn those languages forever, or do you forget ones that you've learned after you learn a new one?
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Huh. All right.
It's a
I
good
like
place.
your Elvish accent. It's so provincial.
Is he being weird again?
I don't think he knows with the sarcasm. I don't.
No,
He
no.
just says the things without the thinking.
Just let him practice.
So, Grizz, apart from your warm, cuddly personality, what are you good at?
I'm good at tracking things. I've got this one.
Mhm.
Never lies.
You good in a fight? You look good in a fight.
Yeah.
Look,
What would you think I wasn't good in the fight?
No.
very
You
strong.
up, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's scary to me.
Yeah, I'm good at tracking things.
All right. So, what I can do, I can find thing, and I hold the library card. I can copy things and usually make them look just like stuff. So I think we might all need library cards, for example.
That is very useful.
I'm pretty good at disguising myself and looking like other people. There's probably going to be a good few times where I'm going to not be dressed like I am.
I like the way you dress.
I like the way I dress as well, but sometimes some people don't. So,
Are we gonna know it's you?
yeah, I'll tell you.
Oh.
Hmm.
Can we have a signal? I feel like we should have a signal.
I think the
Like,
signal should be like, oh my god, run for your lives! That will be the signal, yes?
No, subtle.
Oh.
We can work that out in a moment, but more than likely I'm going to be telling you guys ahead of time what I'm wearing, or you're going to see it before it's actually important.
Okay.
I'll smell you.
You might be able to do that, yeah. All right, so I'm good at disguising things and forging. I am good at picking up things that people don't want picked up, and then convincing people that I didn't do it.
Oh, that's good.
Wait, do you
It's helpful.
pick up like people, they drop things and you take the thing off the floor? Is what you mean with the pick up?
Close, but usually they don't actually let go of it first. A lot of people on the street are very good at picking up people's pockets. I would suggest all of you start splitting your coin purses in multiple places, so if someone steals your money, they only steal about a third or half of it.
Can we agree on something first?
What?
Can we agree we're not going to steal from each other?
If I can get my 2 coins back from Gridge, sure. If we're gonna split money
To
evenly.
be honest with each other, we start fresh.
Yes,
And then we help each other.
it is a new
It's
day.
good.
Yes.
New day.
Just throw them. I don't know where they're gonna
Alright.
go, but
Toss them down on the table nearby.
yeah, I'm trying to make them roll off. So-
I have one more question that I think is important. We are all talking about the things we have and the skills, and that is all good. But is there anyone that we are hiding from? Someone we do not want to be found by?
I don't feel that talking about that is especially necessary.
I agree.
I think so. If we walk into the wrong place and the wrong person sees, and then suddenly it's all like
Well, I think it's safe to say that no matter what we're doing, we're trying to be inconspicuous. So it doesn't matter who's tracking us or not. We just need to act like everybody's tracking us.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
what
we don't
that
need to
take-
be chums, yeah?
what
We're
that
just
take-
trying to make that money.
what I take from this is all of you are on the run from someone. Okay, fine.
Just assume.
Never.
Safe to assume.
A little bit more of a personal question for you. If you were to try and be a little more inconspicuous, Alan, are you willing to? Does the flesh that you are wearing, does that come off?
Well, no. Well, nor would I want it to. It'd take a lot of
Okay.
effort to change. But I mean, I could put a hood on or something.
Go mask.
I
put
don't
it
know
on.
how it works, so I figured I'd ask.
Good disguise. Another disguise on top of your graph.
Yes, the layers, yes.
Yes.
We can work out things.
So if we're gonna do this job,
Hang on. Lawson has an important thing to bring up.
Were you gonna make the library card so you can't see the dates?
Why? Is yours expired?
No, not my card. The book card. The checkout.
Oh, the book card. Yes, I should probably change that as well. Can I have the book?
Here's the card.
Oh. Great.
They spill the coffee that we smooth it up because they put it in a different place. We learned this before.
Yes.
Yeah, I can do that. That shouldn't be too much of a trouble. So if you will remember, Garland gave Losian 2 silver for us all to be quiet about the dreaming substance that that was spat up in front of us that we
No,
sold.
he paid for it.
Yes, he paid for it, but that should probably be the first thing that we actually split up between us, so everyone gets some money. Are we
Yeah.
agreed?
You got one and he got one.
That's not splitting it up. Remember, I said evenly.
Well, if you've got change.
Um,
If not, we still have to cover the rent so they don't get kicked out.
Sure.
True.
The silver,
So you could just run credit.
it covers our rent. If we can actually pay tomorrow or today.
Well, I think we have to be clear on one thing, that T-Sen paid us for a certain thing that we performed, which will cover the rent obligation. And then Garland did put the other money that I believe was intended for all of us. I do think that was the spirit of the enterprise. I think this is a fair thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is a nice place.
But you guys need it right now. We can get the rest of it from you later.
I'm comfortable with that.
If we're going to
This
be
is fair.
working together, we might as well start like a ledger or something, right?
Sure.
I don't
I
want
can
to
start
be
doing that.
responsible.
I think we should all have
Yeah, I
access
don't know.
to the ledger.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't
Maybe
talking about
somebody else.
keeping it.
Speaking of
But
rent,
he is a good one. He's
Sure, if you want blood splats all over it.
That's fine. Cause look at the
That's-
face. He's very responsible with our money.
I think he's good with accounting.
Yes. I don't think he could lie about it. Look at the face.
lie about what?
See what I'm saying?
So, speaking of rent, so you guys have enough so you're not getting kicked out?
I believe we are good now, yes?
And you're staying with them?
Yes, we should pay this thing.
Do you have enough?
I'm a little short.
How short?
That was a great question. Now that I got two back.
While
yeah.
Felix is counting his coin first, I would have a question for everyone. Now that you know what is before us to do, is there anyone that you perhaps know that might have some way that can help? Like, I don't know if there is a thing you can do with the bureaucracy, maybe you find out about the place, or if anybody knows something about the guards or the librarians.
No, I was gonna say we could ask Tenny to let us in, but no, she's not supposed to find out about this.
I don't know.
Don't ask her.
I do not know her, so this will be easy to not ask. Yes.
She's the wife of Garland.
No, I know her. I do not know her.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't. No, okay. No. But
And-
anyway, who needs money?
I'm 3 copper short right now.
I'm 7 copper short.
Oh.
So we're a silver short.
Are we a silver total short?
Well, 3 and 7.
Yeah.
Here.
That is very kind of you, my friend. You are a very nice person.
Right, are you handing? How many are you handing?
Silver.
I'll take the silver and break it up into coins
Right.
to give
And
you
we-
the change.
We have 2 silver
Silver.
to resolve later. That is 2 silver TBD. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
But
So, Lossian, that was you handed a silver off?
Yep.
Just one?
Just one.
Okay, so that takes you down to 2.
Yep.
And then Felix, you are accepting it and breaking it down with some of your copper.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're giving how much to him?
If I'm
3.
taking 3, I think he's taking 7.
Okay.
and we have the 2 silver that are pending for later.
Yes.
So, sorry. Pay the rent, yes, before we depart. But, so, now we know about the library. And I would like to do this thing because the days will get away from us very quickly.
That's true.
Yes.
Do you
Do
want to
the
know
guards-
how? What?
Did the guards stay there all night, I'm assuming? The 2 guards?
We'd have to find out.
The woman, the Twompa, she did mention the overtime with the people that are there around the clock. I got the impression someone is always there, but it is less people in the night.
Okay. Well,
But
that would be
it's-
something to know.
The challenge is if we do in the day, and if someone is caught, then perhaps they can say, "Oh, I am lost. I did not know where I am," and maybe it's not so bad. But yes, but if we do in the night, you cannot say, "I just took a wrong turn because why were you here at 3 in the morning in the library?" So something to weigh.
There's also less people to catch you at night.
It's true.
That is a compelling point. Yes.
Can you see in the dark?
Or can?
I have the weakness of the human eyes.
So, this is probably, as it sounds like you guys are doing, but this is probably a good time to discern what kind of information, like maybe somebody should be keeping a list of what the questions are that you guys have, and then to put forward ways that you might be able to get those answers to your questions in the safest or most time equitable scenario.
I do not know if it is possible, but I think knowing the guard rotation is probably a good thing to know, like when they are coming, when they are going.
That shouldn't be
When
too
they
hard.
change.
Yes.
Just requires a bit of patience and someone sitting around watching the entrance.
Try
But
to do
time is short. So
How many days until rent is due?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, we can pay. We are here. It's the library. I believe now it is the library is on Friday is the sorting, so that is what 3 days from today.
But
Right.
sooner the better.
Yes, the sooner the better. Absolutely.
And to recap what you guys know from your conversations and also from your time spent here with Geisha, the rent is due, and I believe it's tomorrow, but it starts to accumulate late fees immediately. And after 3 days after that, you are evicted. Lock, stock, boots, laces, and all your assets are seized.
We will pay on the way out of the building today. Yes.
Yes.
It's so we do not lose the money. We do not have the children with the sharp glass. They like no. One less thing to worry about.
All right. So the way I figure it, we probably need to try and get some maps or a layout, unless someone has a really good memory on exactly where everything is.
Yeah, what's the deal with that sewer? I think there might be like a way to get down there.
What's
Yeah.
Well,
In
I
the-
smell like a sewer down there.
In the food court, I heard the voice. They say, Grizz, do you know who that was?
Well, I didn't have time to see it because,
Good.
you know, getting all pulled out of there real quick.
First, you are welcome. Yes. And the second, I did not know if you were in trouble or we do not want somebody to later after we do this. I say, oh, I see Grizz in the food court. No, I don't want that. That's why I pulled you out. But they know you and you do not know them back. Odd.
Well, we have to be careful then. That means that there's somebody out there who knows that you're there, so we have to be extra careful for you.
Can anyone think of a way that we could get the map of the library, of the place, maybe the structure and the tunnels? Do we have these things? Perhaps you, my darling, could go to the city hall with the questioning and the winking of the eyes and maybe...
Oh yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
That could be a good place.
Okay.
It is worth a try, I think.
Yeah, you tell me where to go. I go.
Are there?
What am I doing again?
I'd follow you.
What am I
Well-
asking for?
Well, we go to the city hall and maybe we can get the map of the structure of the library, and then we might maybe there are the passageways or the tunnels from the food court or the useful
Okay.
information. I do not know, but it's worth a try, eh?
Oh, okay. Yes.
Maybe from city planning they would have blueprints or.
City planning. See, that's helpful. Thank you.
Do you think the would there usually be sewers around places?
So the way that there will be definitely drainage situations, but usually that's going to go pretty much straight down to the cogs, which is the almost industrial center of Sharn. It's imagine like the foundry is a big part of the cogs. It's where the majority of the labor and sweat. Think the coal rooms inside a ship or inside really the Titanic, if anybody can remember the way they displayed that in the movies, that's pretty much what the entirety of the cogs looks like. There's molten lava, there's big caverns, there's all this other stuff that the city uses to both mine the space underneath it that is held very well aloft because of the ambient magic in the area, but also that it uses to generate a lot of the heat for the city, as well as provide a lot of labor to some of the less desirable, less upwardly mobile, literally.
Based on my past relationship with Tisan and the time I've known him, do I think I could maybe ask him about normal guard rotations without him being too suspicious, or perhaps I should leave the Tisan out of this?
Well, Tisan is a member of the Sharn Watch, so that's a legal entity, and your involvement with, like, asking him directly could possibly put you in a precarious spot of needing to explain yourself.
And then
He may know other people that moonlight, other Sharn Watch people that moonlight as guards. There are certainly plenty of corrupt Sharn officials, and that goes all the way down to the guard. There are also people that work with those guards on a daily basis, or see those guards on a regular basis, or any number of other situations that would allow you to glean that type of information.
perhaps that is the thing I will gently poke around to try to find out.
And after you guys pay rent, you do have a little bit of freedom here before that happens to figure all those things out. You did meet quite a few people last episode, if you recall them, that could give you information if you ask roundaboutly. If you're smart about it and you don't just outright ask the thing. The outside of that, too, is you do have time to stake the place out.
Which I would gladly do. Since I don't need to sleep and I can just stand still.
You don't need to sleep, but you do need to
You
have
need to
about
rest,
4 hours of
yeah.
recovery time to patch yourself up from
Sure.
wear and tear.
I pull just like a super ratty old cloak that I've got. That I'm like, this might help you be the less conspicuous with the pull.
That would
over.
help, thank you.
Perhaps if we have time later, I'll show you how I do, so people don't look at you when you're out there.
He's very good, even though he's so big. He's very.
I was gonna say that
Shadows.
cloak's kind of big for her.
That is the point, my friend.
Rudy, is it capable for my disguise kit for me to use that on someone else?
Yes.
Okay.
It would take you, for making a disguise for you, would take you roughly about an hour to make something that is going to be durable enough to make it through what would be like an encounter, to be able to use for a day, roughly. Taking it off, putting it on is going to be something a little bit more strenuous for you time-wise. Think maybe like it would take you maybe a long rest to do something that is something you can move in and out of. To make something that would pass specifically for somebody else would take you a considerable amount of time, and you would need not only the resources but the time around that person to be able to make the disguise appropriate.
Gotcha. So impersonating a specific person is
Gonna
really
take you
quite
a-
hard.
Right, and there are archetypes that can do it in a much faster time frame,
Okay.
but specifically your lack of any class is going to maintain a much longer amount of time before you get that sort of a thing right.
I have plenty of class.
Uh-huh.
It's 50-50, my friend. But I believe your thing is you must be making the library cards.
Oh,
at least in
That's
the-
fine. I was
so-
more thinking about whether or not I can help make Zaylan less conspicuous.
So if I am looking into the guards, my darling is looking into the blueprint. You are fixing the book and making the library cards. You are staking the library. What will you two be doing so we can make use of this day today?
I think the day is almost over, isn't it?
You guys have spent, you guys spent quite a bit of time during the day, and you do know that there are a couple of you that have work that you must attend to as well. That is to say that there may be things that you can learn while you're at the Old Dominion from anybody that might be there, but if you don't report and you stop showing up to work, that income source is going to dry up.
I know what would be useful. Garland's woman, their name, what is her name? You told me before, and I said, oh, I know
Tisa?
her name. Tisa? Is that Melishon? No.
Melishon is Garland's boss.
Right, Tisa.
Girlfriend.
Grizz, perhaps you can find out, like, when she leaves, maybe we get an idea what she is doing with the coming and the going. Can you do this, like, subtly with the nose and the eyes?
Yeah. Subtlety's my middle name. Yeah, of course.
He's... What?
Nothing.
But he can follow her, like, better than the other ones of us can do their thing.
So you want him to follow Tenny?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, I don't, you tell me if someone else should, but he said he does the tracking. We need a person tracked. It makes sense to me.
Why are we tracking her again?
Just so
Yeah,
we know
why
when
are
she
we
comes, when she goes. Perhaps we do this thing when she's out of the building, and it's less likely that she catches us.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That
All
is-
right, so as the light outside starts to dim, and you guys can hear that familiar, almost rumble of bath time that typically precedes what is like rain for the lower Duras, underneath some of the bigger the towers where you guys live. You can kind of see the sun setting, and you know work is approaching steadily. Whatever your tasks you're assigning are going to be should be divvied soon.
The only one left is you, sir, and then we can go about our nights. What can you do?
Sir,
I told you what I could do.
Gaussian.
and that gentleman has work as well.
I have
Oh.
some work.
Tomorrow, I mean, we do the thing in the morning, I understand, but we are getting an understanding now, is all.
do you want me to do? I told you what I do. I can stitch up people, I can tell you about religion things, and I can look at stuff.
Do you think some of the, I don't know. I don't think the churches would really have that much influence or...
The illusion thing, and you told me that the hallway and the mirrors, perhaps you could think a way of distracting people, no? Windows. Perhaps you could think of a way to distract the people downstairs. You can,
I did that.
you can, oh, so you know this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
There's two windows. One where the break room is that the guards were in. They can see out in the hallway. And then the far end is Teeny's office, and she's got a window in her door, and she can look all the way down. And the sorting room's next to her office, so she can see anybody who comes to it. But I could put up some illusions in the hallway in front of me, or us, and make it look like the empty hallway that I studied, down close enough so I could put it over the window, so if anybody looks out the window, they just see the empty hallway. And the same thing on her door, so it still have to be quiet. You can't make a lot of noise because you'd be able to hear that through the illusion, but otherwise it just looked like an empty hallway, and somebody has to get through the locked door, because I'd be surprised if it's not locked. And once you're in there, you gotta be
So
able
like
to...
he's rambling.
Yeah,
a little.
he's rambling. So actually, that's a really good point, because for the actual doing of the thing, Zaylin, you're the sneakiest of all of us. Perhaps you're the one who delivers the book to the place.
I think perhaps, even though we have more information we need first, but perhaps you three, because you were quick with the fingers, you were the sneaky and the illusioning, and perhaps the three of us, we are upstairs, we are more the distraction.
I like that. It's good.
Yes.
One last thing before we all go to work or whatever. I hold Rose's library card. We need to stop using our real names on anything.
Yes, my dear. No.
But I wanted a library.
You have a library card, but you're
That's
getting
why
a
I
different
gave
one.
the girl the fake name.
Yes, and I would do the accent. They're like, oh my God, I'm not from it. Yeah, that thing, that is why I do that thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You could be a lily. You be a different flower.
I don't like the flower, but I'll figure it out.
All right, yes.
Also, if you have changes of clothes, make sure that you swap out of more recognizable big jackets and the
I'm
like.
very hard to miss, though. I think we should figure it out for the next time.
We are
How I could change. I don't want to change, but I will
we're very
figure it
conspicuous.
out.
Yes.
So as the day wanes,
Yes, so we move along. We meet back here at noon tomorrow. We work, we sleep, we come back at 12 o'clock, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. No, why do you say the no?
I'm pretty sure my work shift goes longer than noon.
We will talk while we walk, what time we meet back up.
Okay.
Yes.
so you do just have the overnight shift. When you come back in, you will need a little bit of rest time. If noon is when you guys want to reconvene, that's fine. We can call that a day
Okay.
kind of thing, since we are working in like the red light, the glow of the neon light for the most part.
And do pay the rent on the way out and do
Yeah.
stash half of my money
Tonight,
after they leave.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so is everybody clearing out their? Is everybody able to pay rent right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so who is paying what? Because I've got Grizz has 1 and 6. I have that you have 1 silver and 6 copper.
When we squared it, he gave me 7 because I had
Yeah.
because I gave him 2. I started this game with 1 silver, 5 copper, and I gave
And then
him
he took
2
2.
back, and then so I had 1, and then
Yeah,
they gave
2.
me 7. So
Oh, we gave you 7.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I
I'm up to
misheard
2
that.
silver. Yeah. So.
Okay, so you're exactly at like 2 and 10. You're.
I should be exactly at 2 silver as well.
I have you exactly. Oh, I have you at 1 and 10. Harmatio, I have at a silver.
Yes. And whatever my share of the Garland hush money when we split that thing is, yes.
But for right now, it
That's
is.
not
Yes, for now,
Yeah.
I have the 1. Then
And
I
I
am allowed
have
to spend.
Zaylin with 10 coppers and Rose with 10 coppers, which I assume that between Harmatio and Rose, you're.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys empty your pockets, seeing Geisha on the way out. Rose is down to Zora.
Hi, Geisha.
Felix, if you could give the 2 silver to Lucian for the safekeeping, please.
What?
I don't have the 2 silver.
Oh, he already have them, yes.
That's already been covered.
Yes.
Lucian, you have 2 silver, 14 copper, yeah? And then your 2 silver's going into the pot or into the hole.
Although, so long as you're not trying to pull my shoes off, money stays pretty well on me because I
Well-
make a point of splitting it up.
And we won't do that anymore because now we're all honest with each other. I gotta go to work.
Yes, let us go.
Okay, I'll see you.
Zaylin, you're keeping your 10 copper.
I am, but because of everybody paying your rent, if we need any emergency funds, I'll be happy to
Thank you.
fork that up.
Okay.
Our home is your home. Until it is not your home.
All right. So with that, Lucian, what are you doing? Are you doing anything during your work shift, or are you just going to work?
Just going to work because they didn't tell me anything to do during my work shift. So
All right.
I'll read the book on my break.
Okay. It doesn't take you long. Zaylin, you'll be casing the library. What time, like, I would say that it's roughly, like, 6-ish bells now. Like, 6. Bells are universal, so they're day and night. I usually call them morning bells and bells. We can also refer to them by, like, day bells and night bells or something like that, but typically it's just bells. And they don't have, like, the 24-hour military clock, so if it's 6 bells, you need to differentiate for the most part. So we'll say right about now, it's about 6, maybe 6:30 kind of thing, 6.5 bells. And so when do you plan on heading over back to the library to watch?
Well, I think it would be better to have some recovery time in like the morning when there's going to be a lot of traffic of people. Because
So what time do you want to go?
I will head there. Since I want to be overnight, I would head there maybe 3 p.m.
So it's 6 evening bells now. You're gonna wait an entire day.
Oh, no. Okay, sorry. I see what you're saying. I will go. I'll go at 10.
10 bells.
Yeah.
Okay. Grizz, you are going to trail Melishon.
Was it Tin? Or I thought it was...
Tinny is his nickname for her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then yes. Let me write
Her
it
last
right.
name is Tintil or something like that.
Okay, so yes.
Okay, so what time are you going to go over there to do that?
I don't have much going on, so probably I would leave from there. I'd go there.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fentino.
Tintina.
Fentino.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. Felix, you are crafting the library cards this evening. Rose, you are going to work.
I'm going to work first and just sing and do nothing else because I want to get all this off my mind. And then I go home, I take a little nap, and then in the morning, I would like to go to the city planning to get the blueprints.
Okay, what time do you want to go?
In the morning when the sun comes up or whenever it's supposed to open.
Just
I
to
would
where
know.
you can get back before noon.
Mhm.
Okay. And then
So my shift ends at 8? roughly?
probably,
So midnight to 8?
I would say you probably do an overnight shift. I would say that Sharon also probably is especially where you are, takes advantage of the
Extended hours?
Yeah, so I would roughly, reason that anywhere between 12 and 14 or maybe even 16 hours is probably going to be a pretty standard shift. Felix is making library cards. Hamateo, what are you doing?
At the club, while my darling is singing, I'd perhaps see if there's anyone that maybe I could talk to a little bit about. I also look to see if I see any, clearly City Watch people that maybe are down on their luck, like losing the card games, perhaps vulnerable to a little bit of the coercion,
Okay, so you're going to go to the club and we'll entertain that when we get there.
Yes.
So, Lucian, you go about your day, your evening, performing your autopsies, going through the motions. During your break, you read the book.
If I get any investigation to see what he was looking for earlier, I'll see if I can figure out if there's anything.
Well, and you removed the checkout card, yes?
Yeah.
And he has it.
Yeah.
So, outside of the checkout card, there's really nothing,
There's no notes.
best you
nothing.
can tell, this is literally just a late book. We'll start with Grizz, since you are next. You don't know Melishon. What do you know of Melishon?
Not really anything.
Okay. So, ill-equipped, you head over to the library and post up outside leaning quasi in the shadows, waiting. And somewhere roughly around, let's see, what time does it close?
At least you should have some insight into who she is not, because you've seen the other people.
So, that's the only reason he's getting some bonus here. So, you hang out for a little bit outside, kind of wondering why nobody bothered to equip you with a better description of her so that you could be absolutely sure of who to tail and not require some sort of best guess roll. And somewhere around 10-ish, 9-ish, 10-ish, you start to see a bevy of different gnomes and dwarves, mostly female at this point, and also what looks like a changing of the guard, start to make their way out. Do you know what race Melishon is?
No.
Okay. Well, you see a dwarf, 2 gnomes, a half-elf that is a male, and then a couple of other people wearing what look like standard City Watch outfits. I'd say you can be pretty sure it's not the standard City Watch outfit. So that leaves you with dwarf, gnome, I believe I said half-elf. 2 gnomes, but I'm giving him just the breakdown of the races. So, what would you, what do you want to narrow this down to?
Oh boy. So I'm gonna listen to see if I can pick up on any conversation that they're having.
Okay. How far did you plant yourself away?
Well, so what's the entryway look like?
The entryway, if you remember, the spire is a full-out circle. The library takes up half of it. There is a long hallway that leads back in. It's almost like a tunnel, except for the other side of it, the side that you guys never went in or out of, looks more like almost a barricaded, almost like there's a wall there, but it doesn't look like it was built with the wall initially there. Like maybe at one point it went all the way through. So there's only one real exit that you can see from this level of the library.
Is there like a bench or something nearby that would just make sense someone to be hanging out?
You want to post up that close?
Sure.
Okay. And you made no effort to disguise yourself. So, considering that some of them have met you, let's see if any of them recognize you. You're in luck. They do not.
Also, I'm gonna, well, go ahead.
What do you want to do?
I'm gonna be like sniffing, because I smelled, what's his name? The husband guy. The guy that punched me.
Connor?
So,
Garland.
Yes.
Garland.
So I know what he smells like, so I'm trying to figure out which one smells like him.
Okay. I will give you advantage on a wisdom check to see if you can figure out which one it is.
Okay. That's not off to a good start.
It's gonna get better.
Wow. Yeah, you got, so that's a 3.
A 3. Unfortunately, in the rain and the smell of the gutter that is the Gate of Gold in the Lower Dura, the smell is pretty relatively masked.
Did I overhear anything?
Not really, no. Not with advantage already. There's not much more I can do for you. So you're gonna have to pick one of the 3.
And the dwarf and the 2 gnomes were, they were all female? Or?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the, man, okay. Do they seem to be splitting up? Or-
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. God, alright, the dwarf, I don't know.
You gonna follow the dwarf? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the information that you've gained is that you know that the changing of the guard happens sometime around 10-ish, 9 to 10, somewhere in that area. And you follow a young pigtailed dwarf
I guess I should ask for descriptions.
all the way back to her parents' house. This is you also find that you're pretty sure at this point that one's not her.
Yeah. Yep.
What you report back to your group is completely up to you when it gets there. Let's see if you find any other information. Do I have any other information that I can give you on that? Oh, nope, no. Mm-mm. Unless you're gonna do anything else,
Well,
like stop the dwarf or anything.
no, I don't plan on. No.
Okay, do you make your tracking known to her or no?
To the dwarf?
Yeah, like how close are you?
Oh, no. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what you've learned. Zaylin, you show up just a couple of hours after Sig is gone, and you watch. You see the guards. They seem to go out. They seem to have only one that actually goes out on a rotation, does a patrol. But you do notice over the course of time, it seems to be about maybe every hour or two, somewhat irregular, and you only notice 2 different guards. If there's anyone else, they did not come outside. You also notice that those janky windows that are over here, the other side of it, that used to be a food court, also seems to have some janky windows. Up about another on the second level, not the first. So these are all kind of smothered either in between or up to where the first is. There aren't really any windows on the bottom like that would be easily climbable or accessible. But you do notice that on the backside there, that part of the tower runs up against almost another tower, close enough to where they almost share fire escapes. You could actually jump from one fire escape to the other one fairly easily. Especially if you shoot for one of the lower ones and you're staggering your leap back and forth, a little jump frog. But you do notice a couple of indistinct looking figures using those fire escapes to move in and out of the windows. So while you're here in this moment, do you have any other questions for me?
Do I know, or can I tell what they look like, those 2 figures?
Do you, the guards or the
Yeah.
other figures
The
that are moving in and out of
moving
that?
in and out.
So one of them looks to be a fairly large. One of them looks to be a fairly thick-sized individual. Let's see up here. One of them seems to. You have three small ones. One that looks fairly humanoid, and the other one that looks humanoid but seems to have like maybe a large backpack on over a cloak or something, or with a cloak over it or something along those lines. But unless you're gonna actually get closer, you got shabby, nasty clothing is about the best you can see. Especially in this dark without dark vision. Do you move closer, or are you just trying to pick this up from the distance?
I'm just trying to pick it up.
Okay. So after that, you end up seeing that the guards make their way back. The guards and new employees and everything like that makes their way back sometime around 8-ish bells in the morning. Some day bells. And it looks like the 2 guards that you saw moving in and out the entire evening are relieved and head home. None of them pay any attention to the food court or the windows that are shabbily broken over there or anything. And you're not going any closer or investigating it or anything, yeah? That's not you have to. I'm just double clarifying before I move along.
Would I be able to check to see how easily, like, I can access those windows?
So through the fire escapes, you'd be reasonably sure that you can access them just as easily as any homeless people.
Okay, that's fine. I don't need to go in any further.
Okay. So Rose, let's see. Do I resolve everybody else? Felix, you've got all night to do these library cards and the checkout thing. You're basically doing 6 cards and the checkout slip. And all you're doing to the checkout slip, are you making a new one, or are you just funneling this one?
Is there anything unusual about the checkout slip? It just looks pretty normal. There's nothing interesting about it. No. Then I'll just You know what? I'll make a new one just in case I screw it up.
Okay.
And then try and ruin the new one. A
Okay.
little bit like smudge the new one.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a check at advantage because you have all night.
Cool. What type of check would you like me to make?
Well, you are proficient with a disguise kit, yes?
I am.
Sorry, a forgery kit, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you get to make the roll with proficiency, and we'll say this uses your intelligence.
Okay. Intelligence plus proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What'd you get?
A 1 and a 2.
Wow!
Same as he got earlier.
Wow, what is happening?
Failure is good for stories.
He's a noir
Yeah.
campaign. That is why the things they don't work.
So you spend a good bit of time throughout the night trying to set these together, and you're not happy with your work. You wouldn't call it an outright failure because at least it was a learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
If you try to repeat the construction of the thing the next night, I will let you do the roll at advantage, add your proficiency,
Okay.
your intelligence score,
Uh-huh.
and you get the wisdom from the stuff that you screwed up the night before.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
But that will cost you another day.
Fair enough.
All right. Hamatio and Rose. The two of you head to the club. You spend time getting settled in, going about your songcraft. While you're working, when you walk in, you see Thyssen as usual. You notice Robert having what looks like a little bit of gossip, enjoying himself, a little glass of
I
white
don't even care tonight.
wine. You just walk right by him entirely. Okay. As you do, he gives you like a little wobbly on that. She must have had the bed. And then Hamatio, you take notice of a pretty decent crowd tonight. And the person that Robert is having a drink with and chatting up appears to be a broad-shouldered man who is not somebody you've recognized there frequently, but when you have seen him, you've seen him drinking with Thyssen or Robert.
To clarify,
Mhm.
this is essentially the end of day 1,
Yes.
and the sorting is on day 4.
The sorting would happen on day, like on the 4th day.
Just to make sure.
Yeah, you guys are in between 1 and 2 right now.
After my darling storms past Robert,
Mm-hmm.
I walk up and I say, I apologize, Robert. She is in a bad mood. I made a mistake. I have upset her. She is trying to center herself before the performance. It is completely my fault. I apologize.
Yes, it's fine, Hamatio. I can smell it on her, the disdain and taste for you.
I know it has been a long day. And who is this, my friend? Hello, I'm
Oh, you don't know?
Robert knows everyone. I feel a friend of Robert is a person I at least should make the acquaintance of.
Oh, well, okay, I suppose, but this is Ian, Cog's tongue, and yes, it is a machine.
Ian Cogston, hello.
Oh, but let me, if you really did upset her, I should probably go and comfort her.
Yes,
because
please.
Those things are terrible.
Because
At least you're terrible.
I would not want her to have a bad set and then it ruins like tomorrow also, and I do not want this for her and her feelings. And
No,
her.
nobody wants that for Rose.
Perhaps I could keep your friend here company for a moment. You look like
Well,
a very
that's up to
fascinating-
him, okay?
Mr.
I got nothing to do. Let's go. Goodbye now. And he just like
Right.
struts past you.
Right, I'm like, yeah. Robert. Mr. Cogston? He's the
Cogston.
Cogston?
Yeah, Cogston. Kind of like Tinston.
Yes. I'm Hermatio Forelsket.
Oh, hey, Armatio.
Yes, it is good to meet you, my friend.
How's it going?
I've seen you in the place before, but
Yeah.
I made your acquaintance. What is it that you do in this wonderful Sharn?
In Sharn, like entirely?
Or in this part of Sharn, or whatever?
I do what most people do that's coming back from the war, find easy employment with the Sharn Watch.
And I look and I get an idea of what his race is. Is he the war
Human.
forged? He's a human, right? I'm like, do you mind if I have a seat where
Seats are free, as far as I know.
sit down and I say, my Rose, she is going to perform. She's the voice like an angel, you know.
She's yours?
She would say no, so that is why she's mad at me when sometimes I hold on too tight, and that's the, you know how it is. It's my fault.
I don't. That's why I don't bother with women.
I mean, you find love, what do you find it, my friend? I'm not here to judge your choices.
Typically, I find if love don't want you, it ain't love.
That is quite true. That is quite true.
Well, there's something to be said for patience, I suppose.
Mm.
So, you come here all the time then, I'm guessing.
Most every night, yes. We are new here. We are
Uh-huh.
still figuring out the flow of things and who needs what. Everyone needs something, you know. So
Sure.
that is what I'm still learning.
These things happen.
You
Well-
are a friend of Thiessen also, eh?
Oh yeah, Teeson's a drinking buddy. I usually come here after my shift to go to have a couple drinks with him. Sometimes he don't want to be here, so we just go wherever. But when he's not busy, or when he is busy, I tend to occupy Robert.
What kind of shift is it you're coming off of?
Oh, it's the most boring of things. You probably don't care.
I like to collect knowledge. I'm very curious by nature.
If you like to collect knowledge, instead of asking me, you should just go to the library. I mean, that's where I work, but
Ah!
you'll get a lot better information there than
Which library is it that you work at?
the one right over in Gates of Gold.
You know, I should tell Rose about this. Where we come from back in on there, she's a very big fan of the library.
No, this
They're
thing's
good-
worth grub mutton. It ain't.
Oh.
Not exactly a place I'd go if I were trying to get some real learning in.
What is it that you do there? You're like the big man in the library, usually the small people with the books.
Sharn Watch.
Watch at the library. I mean, why do you need to guard the library? Who's going to steal the books?
It's a government building. It doesn't matter. Could be a government brick in the middle of a street, and the guards we gotta guard that. It's all about destruction of property and whatnot. Tell you though, sometimes I feel like I'm more of a janitor. Got this one bird there that just likes to plop down all over the place, if you catch my drift.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yes, it is. Could be very gross. That's true. Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it opens around usually somewhere 9-10 bells. You could just swing on by then if that's what you're looking for.
Is that usually when you are there, the 9-10 bells?
I work day shift, obviously.
Yes. I work the night shift with her, you know. Can I make an insight check to see if I get anything off of him? Or does he gain any insight into him?
You know that you're not asking the right kind of questions if you wanted to get anything, so he's not really going to be giving you any type of body language that is going to suggest anything because you're not asking any questions. He's been absolutely truthful with you to this point.
Could I ask you an unusual question, my friend?
Sure. Should you buy me a drink first?
Oh, it is not that kind of question I want to be asking, but yes, sure. Can I, what are you having here?
I'll just have another glass of the wine.
Yeah, I should have enough copper on to pay for a glass of wine. Yeah.
2 copper's pretty cheap.
Right, yeah. Okay, then, yes, I get the wine, yes. I'm
What's,
like, I'll put it on Roberto's tab. We do not tell him this, okay?
Well, that's not really you getting me a drink.
Well, you have the drink you did not possess, but okay, sure, I'm joking with you, my friend. Roberto would come back and I'd have to go take him for a coffee, and it's a complication thing. Yes.
I take Robert other places, and I can put drinks on his tab.
I understand. I say before, you love, you find it where you find it. He's beautiful.
Right, so what was the question you were going to ask me? Since you're going to buy me a drink with roughly something I'm already working for.
I will pay for it with my money. It will taste much better that way, yes.
So what do you want?
In on there, the library, it has so many restrictions, which you can read this, you can read that, you can go here, you can go there. Sometimes I like to just go in the room with the books and I just read them on my own time. Sometimes I used to sneak and I would hide in the library and things. If I wanted to just go and read without having to worry about the library guard and the opening and the closing, is there somewhere where I could just go and read in peace? I do not get much peace in my life.
It's a library, it's quiet. What kind of crazy... Not really sure where you're going with this. Or why this is an odd question. It seems to me this is just more of a... I guess on Dare has free reign to... They just leave them open all the time or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's none of that here.
I mean, that's the problem. Because you say you guard the library, which is strange to me for the government thing. That is not what it's like where I'm from. So, I don't know. I'm not asking this well. I don't know do you speak the Elven language by any chance?
No. So, here's what we're going to do. You're going to spend, if you want to, well, we'll parse that a little differently than that, too. Give me an insight check. And give me an investigation check. One then the other.
I will say the big die insight investigation.
Sure.
Insight. Well, were they contingent? Let me just say that first.
But what? Give me one and then the other one. So.
Insight is a whopping 8.
Okay.
And then the investigation also.
Yes, you can give me investigation as well.
That was 19.
All right.
Which it rolled to the 18 and then the 4. It's like, yeah, oh.
So here's what you learn. For the drink that you bought him already, he ends up giving you the guard rotation, which is something that you guys can all kind of get back together about since we've already given that information out. What you're able to investigate off him is that he will probably give you more information in exchange for money. He can be bribed, but you don't ask the right questions. And so what you're able to glean off of him is simply the price for maybe 2 more pieces of information that could be helpful, which is 5 copper and a silver.
So 1.5 basically is the price.
If you want it at all, yes.
Right. Okay. I just say, my friend, I've talked your ear off and my darling is about to perform. Will you be coming back tomorrow night to visit our fine establishment?
Depends on what's going on, I suppose. If Robert asks me back or if Thiessen wants to drink, maybe.
Definitely. And perhaps if I might see you at the library. Are you working there tomorrow?
Yeah.
Excellent. Enjoy the performance again. She sings.
All right. So after that, everybody is gonna meet up. Let's see, Rose, you're gonna go ahead and go to the Dura Hall, and you are able to easily get access to blueprints, Oh, you wanted to roll something?
No, I just wanted to tell you my cover story.
Oh, you've got a cover story.
She learned her lesson.
Well, now, is the cover story going to get in the way of your ability to navigate the bureaucracy and get what you need to get?
I think it's gonna be good.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so basically, I am working on an art project, and I'm going to comparing Ondarian libraries to Sharn libraries, building a replica, an exact replica, a mini replica, depending on the size, which one they are. One is going to be built in toothpicks, and the other one is going to be built in glass shards, to representing the juxtaposition of the two cities and themes of each city.
Oh.
The-
Okay.
And that's why I need the blueprints, because I need exact replicas.
What is a
Juxtaposition.
I don't know this word.
You're not even there.
That's right. All right, then.
I didn't even tell you my plan.
I believe in you.
So give me, while you're there, why don't you give me an investigation check.
It's not fun. That's a 10.
It's a 10?
Yes.
That is a high roll.
Okay. So while you're there, you can find out blueprints. You can find out that the food court next door, very simply from the public records in your investigation of that, you can find out that the the food court next door was a portion, like the lower portion that supported the Little Droam Bazaar.
So cool.
That seems to have closed sometime within the last 4 years. And that the library has been there for 10 years.
Why did it close?
Give me a charisma. Let's see, this will just be persuasion. Oh wait, you're using it. Did you just shake that?
It was crocked.
Oh, well, you can roll it again instead of shaking it. The
No, it got worse.
so you're going to give me a deception check because you're lying about your story.
Is that what that roll was? I rolled a 4.
Yeah, a 4 total,
Yeah.
even after bonuses.
I only have a 2 bonus.
Oh,
Unless
but
I
you
get
do.
advantage.
You do because you gave me a great backstory.
Thank you.
The person there buys this.
Yeah. So it's deception.
Yeah.
That's a 16.
Okay, better.
That's
So
mine.
what you
That
gain
was the way for you, that's all.
that seems to be missing from those, you end up getting a set of blueprints for the food court as you start to inquire from the clerk that's helping you.
Who is this clerk?
The clerk's name is way up at the top of my sheet up here.
You are so helpful.
Kelly
Thank
Clarkson.
you. I make a mini of you. I make a sculpt it in paper like a mache. You are so generous.
Well, I'll hand you this in the meantime. The thing that you notice about these is that it has there seems to be like maybe air ducts or something?
That is very nice.
And the clerk's name is probably not one that I wrote down then.
But I remember them for next time. 'Cause
Yes,
they're
I
nice.
have it. I will give it to you. I will just check the other sheet. So as you're talking to the clerk,
Look,
Clark, the clerk.
I like the Kelly clerks.
as you're talking to the clerk, you learn that the the Little Droam Bazaar used to have all these shops and everything like that were on the upper levels. The food court itself has a main level. It has what's not really a basement, but more of like a service hallway that had cold storage units in it. The cold storage units. Let's see. His name is Inji Shinecraft. So you learn that there's kind of the same overhang that the library has, that little upper balcony thing where people used to be able to eat while overlooking the food court. And you learn that the food court and the little bazaar above were closed down when the owner was deported. And you got a 16, yeah? Mm-hmm. And Inji says, and deported is more or less of a nice way to say exiled.
So it's just left for
No,
dead?
no, exile. Like
No, the food court's like empty and just left. Like that's so sad. It's a nice building.
oh well, it. Let me. So he goes back through the public records a little bit more. He goes, well, it was bought. It's just not been developed.
Oh, are there plans to do something more? Like is it under construction?
Not that I know about.
Okay,
So that's what you gain.
cool.
After the evening gives way and you guys meet back up at noon in your apartment, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. So go ahead and regurgitate what you guys got for each other.
My darling.
I'm a genius. I got
Yes.
things.
What is this you have?
That are there 3 of them here so that I can pass them around?
There
Are they
are.
different or is it-
There's at least 2.
Okay.
If there's 3, then I actually get 1 as well.
Okay. Well,
But
there's-
for now, you guys can all look at them.
This
Doesn't
is
matter.
the food court. It's an extra thing I got because I'm so clever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can
And
see
humble.
here, the judgment. So this is the main level is the food court, and the second level is a little Durham Bazaar.
The second level is actually the overhang. The bazaar is barricaded off on your left
What?
there.
Right here?
Yeah. So below that.
So they came with us, so they know where this is the thing we're looking at here.
Yeah.
This is the food court, and I guess this is the overhang.
This is the
Oh,
overhang.
And then there are air ducts over here.
There appears to be what look like air shafts that go not only across the area, but also not only across the second floor, but there seems to be a large shaft that runs both up and down, and what looks like across the hallway. However, on the blueprints you have for the library,
There's also cold storage. I don't know what you want to do, but maybe the creepy one over there can do something with that.
I
I
feel
look
like
behind
the,
me for the
the
creepy
smell
one.
from over in the place was so stinky. I don't think the cold storage is working right.
That might be.
Upside
Oh, there
down.
we go. No, yeah,
Here maybe
Oh,
I can do.
Okay. So, is there labels? It's upside down.
Is it upside down?
Yes.
Oh, I rotate. I have
See,
very
there's
long
words.
and
Is it
very
north?
arms.
North first floor. It's not labeled though.
No, that's
What's the library?
the stairs to the left go downstairs. Stairs to the right go up to the upper level where there's more books. Mhm.
Oh, okay. And then there's the first floor. There's a balcony, second floor.
Am I letting go?
Yeah,
I
just
can-
let go of the 2 of them. Because that's not important.
Okay, I let go.
I know. You're good at the papers. And then here is the basement and the archives. And as you can see here, there's lots of lines.
That's the archives over there on the left-hand side.
Over here?
All those shelves hold lots of books and stacks of boxes and things.
And what's over here?
The long, big one is the break room. That's where the guards and the other librarians go to eat.
And what's this one?
And that's where the offices are.
Where we're supposed to go?
The one all the way at the end,
This one?
yeah,
This
that's the sorting room.
So we have to make a thing for the 2 doors here,
Yeah.
like a.
so if you look at it, you can see that the far right side over there, those walls look like they have a little bit extra on them, where the windows were planned. The next one over from where you're pointing, yes.
Up.
So see the black streaks?
Oh yeah.
Those are windows.
Oh,
except for the center one, which is only a door frame wide. So those windows go all the way back towards what looks like, or what Lucian would know, Lucian would know as the main office area.
But there's no window into the sorting room.
There is no window into the sorting room.
So really, we just have to be careful for this one.
Right.
Do you know how high it is off the ground?
Those windows are start about waist high and they go up about 5 feet.
But that's easy. You just crawl then.
You can throw shadows.
On the ground.
Oh, all over the place.
Just
What is the light source? Is in the underground. It's like everywhere.
Do we want to go
This
to?
is
They have
the-
magical lamps down there, you know, guys.
well, yeah, but if you're crawling on the ground, you're not going to put a shadow. I mean, not a crazy shadow.
If I could just say one thing, I learned the guard's rotation, and there is a man. He's a friend of Robert. That I got the impression if I were to with the coin, he would have been more forthcoming. So perhaps we can gain more information. But I did not have the resources at hand to participate in this. So if there are guards down there, or perhaps we need to get in a locked door, perhaps he can tell us, who is the man we talked to. I just did not want to walk up to a stranger and say, oh, help me rob the building. That didn't seem smart.
It'd be good to know who has the key to that door.
Oh, yeah. Zaylin, what did you find?
Put this down.
Okay.
I don't want the cups
Roll
to
the
ruin
thing.
the map. It's all right. Can you roll? I'm Brutus.
You guys can also just drop it down on the floor here if you want to, but essentially that's the blueprints have no furniture on them. It is literally just the walls. And the one thing that you guys do notice while you're going over them is that the air ducts seem to be missing from the library blueprints.
So the food court has the air, but the library does not.
It mirrors it, though, right? So it could be the same.
Roll me a history check.
Also, is this in relation? Do we know where this is in relation to that?
Yeah, the opposite side of the thing.
It's like lazy planning. They just
It's
probably mimic the same
Oh,
thing
so-
on
oh, I
both
see.
sides.
They like
It's
me
a
out.
circular base of a tower.
Oh, I got you.
21.
21. You remember there are air ducts that run through the top area on the second floor, and also air ducts that run through the archives.
I was thinking about this, and I think the hard part is getting both into the stacks. I think the leaving is much easier because you come out, even if you're spotted, you say, oh, I'm lost, I don't know where to go. And someone can help you out with the thing.
Well, they know that I know you. So
Where in relation to were the janky windows that you were talking about on this map?
They would run along the second floor, roughly.
Okay.
Or they would be just underneath that catwalk. They're asymmetrical and kind of spotted. So they're gonna be all over the place in that kind of blump, 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 blump.
But on the second floor is where
Mostly, yeah.
So
You're not gonna be able to get into the first floor and not below ground level through one of these windows.
So we could get in through the second floor.
through the air
Window.
ducts.
How big are the air ducts? Are they
The air ducts are
6
roughly
inch?
5 feet.
5 feet wide?
Mm-hmm.
5 feet?
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, they're probably a little smaller. A small creature, could walk through it.
Right.
A larger creature,
A
medium or
medium-sized would have
above,
to
would
crawl.
have to crawl.
So to be clear, the windows would give access to the air ducts, maybe,
No.
potentially? No.
I want to know
Then I
what they found
misunderstood.
out.
There is no part of the air ducts that seem to push their way out of the walls. In fact, does anybody have Mason, any proficiencies with any tools that would be of consequence here?
You could,
Not you?
You could go into the air
Yeah,
ducts
cool.
from the food court and
Yeah,
crawl
we
across
got all
to the other
the disguise
building.
and things, but we'll check the other one later. Say again?
You could go into the air ducts in the food court and then crawl across to the other building, preferably at night when people aren't around, and then you could be quiet and they wouldn't notice you're there. That would probably be better than people being there. You
Well, no,
could
there's
fit.
a guard change that happens in around 10 bells.
And those two guards don't come back and don't leave until 8 bells in the morning.
And this book is really quick.
Well, I'd say if there's a window right there when there's a guard shift happening.
Who do we want to go into the place? I do not think we all need to.
I'll,
Could have a few go down there.
If it's lit, I don't know if I'll be able to see.
Your constructed eyes are no better than mine, really.
I could go with you, I guess.
Ah, but you are so big.
So you have only spent one night.
Right.
You have more time to gather more information.
This is day 2. This is
This
noon of day
is
2.
noon day 2. So you essentially have your day for day 2 and the night for day 2.
But the maximum is 4 days. If we can get it done within.
It
4
has to
days.
happen
Day
on
3.
the 4th.
I
Oh, it
think
has-
day 3 is when we should do the thing, because otherwise we will arrive on day 4 and we will be too late. So
If
we
we-
should aim for the 3rd day.
How about this? How about we try to sneak it in at night, and if it doesn't work, we've got a day to go in.
Well, we all work at night.
Not all of us. Zaylan, are you any good at climbing?
Yeah, I can climb. I mean, I could try.
With
Certainly.
I'm not great with the maps, but we said something about in the vents. There's a possibility of one of the vents on the 2nd floor leading to the basement. Did I catch that right? Or
Looking at the map and looking at the plans, it looks like you could go through the vents on the ground floor, in the underground floor, and go all the way over to the underground section over here, which would meet up with the vents over the archive. So you just have to get through that and then drop down the archive, and then you can go down that little hallway section to the door and pick the lock and put the book in.
Makes sense.
Could
It
you
could work.
take the night off the work tonight to try this? Because we need to do this.
Why would he go?
Because
She
he
could
can
go.
see in the dark and do the illusions.
I think if a couple of us can go, if we can go, not all of us, but
How far does that little lawn thing you do? How far does that reach?
120 feet ish.
You gotta be
You have
able to see somebody,
You have
right?
to see
No.
them.
No? Wow, that's nice.
I just have to know you.
That
so
is
maybe you'd be
very
able to
powerful.
keep a lookout if somebody was to come.
I have to work at night.
Would you be able to take the night off?
No, I'm the one that makes the money.
Yeah, neither of you can really take a night off. You kind of have to put in for that a little in advance.
Okay.
Well, then this trying the night thing, it won't work.
you're
Unless-
more of a daytime person?
Yes. Also, if this doesn't work, in the daytime I can go. I have a friend. The dwarf girl is very nice. Twampa.
Oh, Wampa?
Twampa
Yes.
was very nice.
I would sing to her and distract everybody.
The
Yes.
Thane's pretty nice too, although she could be grumpy for a gnome.
Yes, the distraction is good.
So if you wanted to take a day off, you two, you would need to probably submit your.
I don't want to.
Okay. You would need to submit it
For the
like
future.
today to get off. Like you're probably gonna need like a 3-day buffer to get a day off.
We do in the day then.
No, they can do it.
No, they cannot do it. They cannot see. It is
Or-
dark.
or-
We
can
could,
see.
we could find out if they turn the lights off at night.
Or you could acquire some means of
There's
light.
lights.
There's things called torches and candles.
Yes.
Zaylan,
Yes.
if you're feeling comfortable about sneaking around at night, you could always try and scout out the ducts to see if the route is actually clear for yourself.
Well, I mean, I have a lantern actually, so I think that'll. As long as
Is it a hooded lantern?
yes, it is.
How much is a drift globe?
Probably more than we can afford, because we can't
ex-
afford anything.
If we want to spend the money, perhaps we should talk to Robert's friend. If we sprinkle a little bit, he can help with something we do not know now.
What?
The Robert, he has the friend he's very close with. I got the distinct impression if I were to spend a little copper, maybe pour some drinks, he would share something that might be useful. I couldn't get it out of him, but I felt it was on the tip
We
of his
need
tongue.
every
Okay.
copper.
So let's clarify. You guys know the schedule when the guards are showing up. You now have a couple of options as to ways that you might be able to access the library at any time. What are the questions that we are missing?
How to get to the locked door.
Get into the locked door. Does anybody have any proficiencies with thieves' tools? No. All right. So that means that we are down to either a way to possess a key or a way that bypasses the door entirely. Is there any?
I could try a crowbar.
You could try a crowbar. That would
Might
definitely
be.
leave a. That would definitely leave the idea that it got broken into.
That's the one.
The air ducts, they don't go directly into the room?
You don't know, because they're devoid of that specific.
I mean, if we were to...
If you were to trace it right across,
Yes.
you would expect that if they do in fact go all the way through, There would probably be one that goes right over top of that room.
Then we can just go through the air duct. You don't need a key.
So here is what I suggest. So at night, the two of you two must work. We four, we mustn't. We don't have to. Perhaps we go. We inspect. You can probe around the air ducts. Maybe.
You also have no real way that you know of yet to access these air ducts, because they would all be up above your reach on any of the floors or anything that you were in. So
Those towers, where were they in relation to this? The towers that
The fire escape?
the fire escapes are going to get you in towards the windows that are going to be on the second level.
Okay.
You're still looking about that high before where the air ducts are going to be.
Gotcha.
Theoretically.
So it wouldn't-
But you've not been inside the food court. You have no idea what the state of the food court is, or even if those air ducts are still connected to the ceiling.
Okay.
So tonight or now, perhaps we go and we look at in the food court and we investigate further.
You think it's a good idea if we all go?
I'm not going.
I will.
I mean, like,
I'll go.
I'd say it's least amount possible.
We can pace ourselves. I need to finish the forgeries. I haven't quite finished those yet.
If you need money, we could probably sell some information to Thiessen.
Do we have more information that Thiessen wishes to possess?
Yes.
My darling, you can talk to Robert. Maybe if he introduces you to this Ian Cogstongue, perhaps you can get a better deal than I was able to get.
What do you want to know exactly?
And to get in the locked door,
key?
if there's... So, well, yeah, but who's got the key? Do they all have the key?
I
Is
think
one
I can-
person?
I can guess one person who has the key, and that would be our friend.
Tinny?
Mm.
Yeah, she probably does.
If I can find out where she's got the key, I could potentially get it off of her.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You're good at
But
that.
then she sees your face, you're there. The whole point is it's inconspicuous.
You do realize I can disguise myself, right?
That is what you have
Yes.
told me, but
I think that's a good
I think
idea.
it's a good idea.
Is that before or after you
can
make
try.
the passes in the card?
I'm still working on those, as I said.
What if, here's an idea. What if someone accidentally drops something down the fin, and then you talk to Telly, or Tenny, whatever, and say we need to get it back, and then you'll follow her, and then she'll unlock it, maybe, and...
because I know what you are saying, but the chute with the dropping is on the other side of the floor at the door we have to get into. You drop the thing and then they take it across and they put. Yes,
No, it drops right down into the sorting room.
that is not what I was told before, because that's why we say we could do this the first time, and we say no, it's a different place.
I think
No,
so.
you can drop things in that, but it's the size of a book, and you can't get through it, really? Plus, if they do go down, they're not going to take you in the room.
But the room with the chute and the room we are trying to enter is the same room,
Why wouldn't it be?
because that was my understanding of all of this up until now.
I can't do much about that. Everybody else seems to have gotten it.
If the book goes down the chute, we will be messing up the card on the book, so it'll get put on the late, or it'll be put on the cart for
No.
the damaged
We have to.
supply.
We have to take the book into the room. and
Yeah,
put
we
it in
do.
there.
I thought as much. I was like, if we throw it down the chute, that's not good
That's
enough.
not
We
good.
Because
have
it's
to.
on top, it has to be on
It
the
has
bottom
to
like
go.
it had been.
Otherwise,
have
I'm
to
pretty sure
place it.
Garland would have just done that.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys start to notice the shadows of the furniture in your room start to drag across the floor.
The
Okay,
three
what's
of
the
us
plan?
should go investigate the food court. I don't know if you want to talk to Robert or not. You don't want to spend the money. It's fine. You can go, but do you want to finish the forgery, or do
Yes,
you want
I
to follow
wanna-
the gnome
I
first?
think it would be better for me to finish up these forgeries, just so we can actually send as many people down there as we need to.
Were you
Um,
able to follow Teeny?
Yeah, she just went home. Yeah, nothing
Oh.
weird there. Mm-hmm.
What does this teeny look like? I haven't met her to see her face.
She's an old gnome.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
like
old
her
gnome, yeah.
man.
Real old.
Not real old. I mean, like
I mean, yeah.
It's like average.
60 something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
70
Something.
No?
Yeah, six.
It's not that old.
Six, yeah.
I mean, I'm over 100.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
relative. Everything's relative.
Still
She's a
growing,
relative.
Yeah, and she has all that hair.
I'm
Sure.
gonna go to work now.
No, it's like noon. You're not going to work now.
What
It's
time
like
is it?
It is daytime.
Yeah.
You just came back from doing that thing.
Tired.
You have not slept yet. So the planning phase still does take time out of your day.
Right.
So because you guys came back and planned, the next cycle that you guys have available is the night. So what that also means is that this is the night of, like, whatever you guys are going out to do is the night of day 2. And if you're going to pull a thing during the daytime on day 3, you pretty much need to get whatever that is done and make the plan ASAP, because planning takes a good deal of time. It takes half of your day.
We need to know what's in the food court. We have to go.
I need the information from Cogston.
I was vetoed on this idea. I thought this was a good one,
We'll
but
think
they
it's a
said
backup plan. We should still find out
I
where
like
that
it.
key
I like the
is.
fact that you, yeah.
So I'm supposed to ask for a key?
Well, I don't know who's supposed
Maybe
to do
you
it.
can.
So was that like a no on the dropping things and
I thought we just gave him money and he would did it like
well, the man is
nicely.
not a slot machine where you point in coins and information
don't
falls at the
understand.
bottom.
You do it nicely.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't understand what the question is I'm supposed to ask and what I'm supposed to get. Because I feel like you already know what order things are supposed to be done in. Why would he tell me where the key is? You
I-
already think it's teens?
My darling,
sure more
you
than
know
just she
what
has
I do.
one.
What I do is I look at the people and I read the people. Yes.
I don't understand the question.
I felt like if I were to perhaps put coin in this man's hand, he might be more forthcoming. That is what I took from my interaction.
We're coming for what? What do you want me? What
We-
what
I will-
information are you looking for?
How to get in the locked door?
We're the key.
Who has the key?
The woman who's in charge
Then
of the
you
offices.
two get the key. We 3 go to the
I'm
food
pretty
court.
sure
We
more
do
than
this
one
now.
person has a key to that room.
Let's go.
Exactly.
Let's go get the key. You should get the key. You should
I-
flirt with her.
We go to the food court. Let us go.
I need to make the cards.
Okay, I'll go flirt with her.
You don't need to go flirt with her. All you need to do is go meet Robert's friend again. What was his name?
Cogston.
Ian Cogstone.
Meet him, flirt with him a little bit.
I don't know if he's receptive to the flirting from her. if
Wait,
you
go on, go on.
understand.
You're saying.
Be friendly with him at least. Maybe chit chat with Robert and him. Talk about fashion or something. I'm not sure.
What's
But
the point?
The point is you can be interested in some of these processes of how the guards work. Take interest, find it fascinating, and compare it to how things are from
Isn't
your
it a
country.
little weird that he's asking and then I'm asking about the same subject? Wouldn't it be more interesting
would
if
agree.
you go and you're like, I like your ideas.
yeah,
Tell
I
me
think
more.
Maybe you should go back and we'll go check out.
You've
the
probably
dots.
already got him established as a contact point. You could do that later in the day.
I would like to do something now. Is the thing I would like to do, but I
Especially
don't have,
because the
yes.
neon lights are starting to flicker
I
on.
would
for
like.
the
Then
evening.
I will talk to him, but I need the coin. Will you give me the coin, please, to go talk to this man?
How much did you need?
I feel like maybe 1 to 1.5, maybe 2 silver would be the thing that might work. I don't know.
I don't have 1.5.
We're only getting
Couple
paid.
copper.
We're only getting paid about 7 silver for this entire job.
I will do my best not to spend it.
I can give you 14.
Wait, that's
Someone
a
else is
copper?
gonna, someone else is
That's
gonna have to
it.
give
so
you a
much
copper.
money.
I'll get.
So,
I'll-
you and I, we go, you schmooze Robert schmooze him, I ask the questions, we will talk, you two go to the food court,
I'm
you
saying
do
I
the
make
foraging.
impression.
Yes, you do the foraging, you do, thank you.
Here's
What
the-
would you like to do while we are gone?
There's 15.
Thank you, I will do everything to bring you change. You will go with them to the food court?
I don't have to work.
Yes, of
No,
course.
it is noon, people, the sun is
It's
in the
not
sky
noon.
still,
We got together
yes.
at noon. We've been playing half a day.
It is not time to work yet.
The
The-
neon lights are flickering.
The
Yes.
neon lights are turning on.
It's nighttime.
The sun is pushing shadows
I
as
hate the
it's dipping down.
sun. Okay, fine. We go to the place. I will talk to him while you and I will talk at the club. You go to work. You go to the food court. We will reconvene again at noon,
Right.
and we will do this thing.
I'm gonna
Good.
stop by the Old Dominion and say hi to Teeson and sell him some information for more money.
Yes.
Go ahead.
You said you
Okay.
want to work.
Who has
Takes a couple seconds.
the money? Like, did you guys give all the money so he has 24 silver or what?
No, he's got
14.
15.
15, yes.
He has
I do-
15, so
Copper.
Zaylen still
Copper.
has 9.
Copper.
Yes.
15 copper.
Okay, so Zaylen has 9,
Did I do
but
that?
Lucian is.
Any.
Yeah,
Bingo.
I'm not
Got
gonna
it.
spend all the copper.
Split it into 2 or 3 pockets.
Yes, I have learned this lesson. I am familiar
Don't
with you.
spend all of it.
I don't want to spend any of it, but I need the option. Yes.
Okay, so you guys head toward the. I'm gonna go ahead and real fast for our very patient people hanging out in chat. I'm gonna go ahead and drop a real fast Idle Champions code
Ah.
so that you guys can play some stuff while we're playing some stuff with us.
Is it
All right.
chest?
Yes.
It is, and it is now hanging out in chat. So, with that, you make your way to your respective areas. You are going to give another go at your craft.
Okay.
Go for it.
So how much of a bonus do I get from wisdom on, is it just my
Oh,
wisdom
your
bonus
wisdom's
or-
negative. So we're going to nullify that. But you'll get advantage and you get your intelligence and your proficiency.
Okay. Thank you. That is only slightly better. 10.
That'll be enough that you can do all of these things, as these are not super strictly official documents in the way that, like, they let a kid make them, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
a 10's solid enough for that.
I'm pretty sure I have rolled now maybe 5 ones, and I don't think I've rolled anything past a 15
You
yet.
need better dice.
Yeah.
It's been Garbacio.
So, after you've done that, you can go ahead and check that off your list.
I have names for everyone too.
Oh, well. Well, that's good because nobody else gave you one, so. All right, beyond that, Grizz and Zaylin went to check out the food court. Great. All right, Lucian.
Lucian?
Laucian? God, I've been doing that.
Yeah?
Still
You're
losing.
going to sell what kind of information to Thiessen?
I'm just going to tell Thiessen the fact that Dream Lily's being smuggled by people, as evidenced by the fact that that's how Cater died. So he said he wanted to know more if I could find anything about how Cater died. And so I'm going to tell him, yeah, he was smuggling drugs internally, he had swallowed it, and it broke, and that's why he died. So there's someone smuggling Dream Lily in town. So 1, he can get a bonus for he solved the homicide, and 2, he can start looking out for people smuggling drugs.
Unfortunately, that information is not going to buy you anything because, as you recall, there was nothing except for the
Scars.
right, those things in there, and
That's what I tell him.
right, and they kind of know. The Charm Police unfortunately uncovered that one beforehand. That's partially why he knew to tell you to go to their place. But
Oh, well.
you guys gave him the information that you gave him before, yeah. So you've already been paid for that. So beyond that, you go to work, and Rose and Harmatio, you were going.
To find Robert and his boat.
Okay.
Knowing what I know about the criminal element of Sharn, do I have any idea of how far I can push this man? I mean, he is a police officer. I don't want to just say, help me break in, and then I get arrested there. Like, do I have an idea?
You were told that he's bribable,
Yes.
and you were even given coin amounts.
Yes.
So how far do you think you can push him?
I would like to, kind of, during my performance, get Robert to kind of like perform for them so he's a little bit like just feels good about the whole situation. If I can influence it at all by,
Sing his
Feeling.
favorite song, perhaps.
I don't know his song.
Well, let's see if he showed up. He did.
One win, yes.
Okay, so he's there.
Actually, could I pull a Robert aside first?
Sure.
When we come, are they together?
No, in fact, they're not. Robert is hanging out backstage. So if you wanted to get to Robert, you would need to have somebody else get there.
Oh, he comes with me.
Yes.
All right, well, I suppose Robert stops you from going backstage. So at the very least, he is there when you try to stop, or when you try to make your way backstage.
Robert, I am short on time, so I will be very honest with you, my friend. I am in need of a favor, which would put me in your debt. Yes.
I think. Isn't it two? That's 2 favors now, right?
Coffee, there is still coffee. Perhaps it is coffee and a meal with the coffee now. Yes, maybe.
I mean, if that's how you're measuring favors, maybe.
I
I'll just
mean-
tuck it in my pocket. What do you need, tell
I
me?
would put myself upon the mercy of
Come,
Robert.
come! You waste so much time for somebody that's trying to be blunt.
The bluntness is the thing I must do now.
Do it!
Yes. Your friend, Ian, He's a wonderful man with a strong shoulders, yes. I believe he knows some things that I need from him, but he is not a friend of mine like you. He is a stranger, and I do not want to be too overt and offend a man.
And?
He works at the library, yes?
Yes.
I have need of some information about the workings of the library that might...
You go and you check out the book and you bring it back, and what is hard about that?
It
Favor or
is-
check, Merrick?
He's more to it than that. I thought so, but Sharon makes no sense, and everything is complicated in this place. And there's guards and locks and doors and
Oh,
keys.
it's so
yes,
hard.
it is.
It's
Yes.
hard. Tell me what you need to know. Either that or I get to mark you in and C plus my check marks.
I lean down and just very close to him in case anybody's listening, and I say, I need to know how to get in a locked door at the basement of the library.
I think there's probably a key.
You are not wrong, my friend.
No, probably not.
I
Robert,
do
very
not
wrong.
know the location of this key or how to access it. Your man probably has a key. He probably knows who has the key.
He probably knows who
Yes.
has the key.
I would be very grateful to you and to him if I were to find out how to get this key.
Which key do you want? Are you just trying to walk into the library?
Door of a, you know, Robert, the things that you know, then someone can ask and then you have to tell. You cannot tell what you do not know. That is why I don't want to say too much.
So you just need like all the keys.
No,
you need to know what the
just-
key ring is.
If that is possible, yes.
And what are you going to promise me
Yes.
that you have no untoward intentions, or that you will tell nobody that we are involved?
I promise you both. We are not hurting anyone or anything, and we will not tell. We are
Ooh.
not taking anything from the library.
That's so good, because I'd hate for like something to fall on you or something.
Did accidents happen? Yes.
I do not like the jails. I've been there.
That is why I don't want you to know the jail things.
Know
that
the
you
jail
will-
things.
That you will find.
Huh?
Yes.
Huh?
So I need help. Honestly,
Those things would probably
what,
cost you
Robert,
some money.
Robert, you are my friend, okay?
Oh,
This is what I want you to know.
okay.
I actually am trying to return something that was lost.
Uh-huh.
And that is what I'm trying to do. But I
What
do
did you
not-
not just? You know what? I don't
the paper
want to
trail.
know.
No, you don't want to know. It is
Uh-huh.
terrible and it makes no sense. Even
So
if I
you
explain.
need. What do you need from me?
I need from him, from Ian, how to get into the sorting room of the library.
Okay,
Ye-
I'll be back.
You are my friend, yes.
He walks over. You see them talk a little bit. He does this little kind of wafty thingy in your direction, and then he comes back. He goes, "Okay, so it seems he kind of hinted this to you the other night that if you give him some money, he could be inclined to give you that sort of information. And he says that he has something super important. If you're going to go rooting around, that would be the silver cost."
I think a silver cost is acceptable, yes.
But the keys are not the silver cost.
I understand. Perhaps the information will eliminate the need for the keys. Yes. Perhaps should we talk to him now? I wanted to come to you because Robert knows
Oh,
everything.
yes, no, he does not
Yes.
actually want to talk to you because
Yes.
he does not want to be seen with you if you're going to go
That's-
traipsing around in a place.
Now you understand why I did not want to just throw a coin and
You
words and
think I
things.
don't? Are you thinking that? Never mind.
Yes. Robert is a genius. Yes.
That is right.
What do you require from Harmatio?
Do
Robert?
you want the information or not?
Yes.
Then put the coins in my hand.
I give him 1 silver.
Okay. He walks off, he comes back, and he goes, "So, for the silver, he wants you to know there is an alarm, and it makes very loud noise, and it's in the stacks."
Is there a way to eliminate this?
He says that it's triggered by a lever, and it is a book. And that if you know that it has a lever, then it's easier to close, but otherwise it is a big, stubborn book. And when you open it, it goes, "Ah!"
Does he know which books we can avoid these?
The big ones.
All the big ones? Like, is it weight or is it one specific book?
He only knows how to describe it is that just because he spends time in the library does not mean he is necessarily the smartest. I keep him around for the cog tongue, if you know what I mean.
That's in the shoulders. I understand. You excellent taste in men you have.
Well, you like men's shoulders. That's fine.
Right.
I'm not there for that.
Is not here to judge.
Me
Yes.
neither. So is that enough information, or do you need me to go back? Because I feel like we're spinning my cogs.
True. One last question, and I do not mean to be too forward, but your friend, is there a price to get your friend to deliver my package for me? We are putting something back. We are not doing the taking. We're doing the returning. Is that a possibility?
I don't know if I would necessarily trust him to move through the steps of a thing that you might want to do, but if you just want him to drop it off, it would probably go in the same way that you would drop it off.
You know, Robert, you know what, my friend? I get very close to him. I'm like, are you listening to me? Are you hearing me? I owe you 3 favors.
Okay. So you did not want to know where the key was, or you're good,
But,
or what?
well, you said that he would not be giving the key information.
He said he would for 5 more copper. You tried to shortchange him.
I put the 5 copper down. Yes.
He waddles over, waddles back. He says that the keys are kept on a board behind the desk on the farthest end, just before you would get into the head librarian's office. When the secondary office there, where all the other desks for that is, past the guard break room. Hanging on the wall, as clear as your nose.
If you have the key, does it disarm the alarm? Otherwise, don't the people set off the alarm when they
He
come?
did not say anything about that. My assumption is because it is a book, that it probably has nothing to do with the door.
A fair assumption, Robert. I understand. Yes.
Now, if that's not the case,
Right.
I don't care because I don't know nothing about it.
It never happened. Yes. You know what, my friend? Blessings upon your family.
I feel like that's some sort of thinly veiled threat. I'm going to go now.
I
I
love you,
believe
Robert.
Rose needs me to fix another snag from
That's
being mad at
true,
you.
yes. She walks very angrily sometimes.
She seems to have reason.
Yes.
Okay,
definitely.
goodbye.
You're a champion, Robert.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Okay, so you've got that information. You head out. Who will do it? We still need to resolve the 2 of you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys head to the. You know what? We'll resolve the 2 of you after we come back from a real quick break, and by that I mean like 7 minutes because it's already 9:05. So, with that said, I'm gonna give you guys another code while I let them go to the restroom, so you guys can grab a second chest. Give you something to do while we're on break. I expect you guys back in your chairs. We're gonna say that this is only a pee break, so 9:12.
Okay, thank you.
Roll out.
Ready, break.
Welcome back. I have gummy bears. I feel like they should have like little fedoras and trench
Are
coats.
they gummy owlbears? Because those would be amazing.
I think we're gonna do that. So, when we left, we had half of the party handling some various tasks for their throughout the day, and we have Zaylin and Grizz checking out the food court. Yeah? All right. So, as you guys make your way to the food court, and this is night-ish is when you guys are going, what time are you guys trying to show up?
What?
It would have to be either before or after the changing of the guards.
Well, you're heading into the food court, so you could take the windows and the fire escape
Okay.
without having to go through the main hall.
All right. What time do you want to go?
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. So towards later, I guess. I don't know. What time do you want to go?
We start making our way after. So we left at 6, so we'll get there maybe like 8.
Yeah, we'll just go.
Okay. So, you guys wanted to wait until the change of the guard kind of thing?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Is that even
I think-
relevant though? Because
I
I
mean,
felt like
it's-
we could get to the.
I'm gonna go ahead and solve the problem for you. You're gonna wait until nightfall, and then you're gonna take the fire escape, and then you're gonna go inside the window when there's no guards around, and that's how you're gonna handle it, okay?
That's what I do.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah. So I had this idea.
So, climb your way up the fire escape. You make your way to the window that's the closest, easiest available. As you peer in, you can see that the landing extends a little bit around the portion of the food court that would be the overhang. You can look down, and against that far wall, you can make out the shapes of what looks like stands for vendors. If this were present day, it would look like a food court, a standard food court that has the individual little stands and kiosks. Across the floor, there seems to be broken chairs and tables that are turned over, some cloth running from one end to the other, kind of like little makeshift tents. Things that are just barely working their way around. And all of this, you can see a little bit of extra light coming from what seems to be just underneath you in the area. So you can't quite look down over what it is, but you can also make out some shapes in the gray of your eyes, or the gray of your vision. You can make out the shapes that are wandering back and forth across the little area down there. You count roughly 5-ish. One of them looks like a large bird, like an aarakocra. One of them, couple of them look smaller creatures. One of them, 2 of them look humanoid. The other one looks humanoid, but has some weirder features from where you can see. And you can tell that, taking stock of the ceiling, one of the air ducts is leaning down over the center area, almost touching the ground, but just kind of there bobbing a little bit, as if it had fallen in the disrepair of the food court. You want to climb inside? You guys are outside the window at the moment.
Yeah. Well, so there's some people in there. We gotta be quiet.
Do you think we'll get caught if they're? Are they pretty much farther away? Do you think we could sneak in there?
They're pretty far away, right?
And downstairs.
Yeah. So do they have does it seem like they just immediately see us walking in? Okay. So yeah, let's sneak in
Sneak
there.
in
We're
there.
just gonna sneak in.
Okay, so you guys are able to move through the window. You creep your way towards the edge of the overhang. Looking down over there, you can see that there's actually a little fire, which seems to rise up into the ventilation shaft in a certain way. And there's a little hole that's been made where the smoke actually seems to be pulled into it. And the fire, it would seem to you that this is being influenced by some sort of magical, by some sort of magic, but it definitely defies what you would know as being a woodsman or anything like that about the way that fire would function normally.
Okay.
You don't notice anything really outside of that, except for along the right side, if you were to travel along the rest of the way of this upper kind of balcony, the far end seems to have like maybe a staircase that looks barricaded. And to your left, going down the other way, is a staircase that would lead down to the first floor.
Okay.
And across those kiosks, the little food vendor stands, you can see to the right side, there seems to be what looks like maybe a hallway or a room or something that recedes back a little bit beyond that, almost directly underneath where that big barricaded staircase would be above it on the next floor.
Okay. Now, is there like, do we see those vents that we all talked about? Like
The ones that some of the smoke is going into, or the one that's arcing down, touching the ground almost, or
were those the ones that we were talking about, like traveling through to get to the library part?
You would assume so.
Okay. Do they like? Does it look like there's any way to get inside of them?
There is one that's arcing down
Just
towards
that
the
one?
floor,
Mhm.
at least. The other ones seem to be suspended just a little bit up above you, maybe not a way that you could get to it from here.
So it couldn't boost. One.
Neither of these make it, unless you can throw her.
Okay. More expect to see people in here.
Me neither. That, especially that bird.
Yeah. I don't think we can get in them air vents.
I don't know. You think we could try to with a rope get up there?
Does it look like was there any like thing to throw a rope and snag it on?
You're pretty sure that there's no way that from this place you could get into those. You would need to go downstairs.
What about the barricade? Want to check behind what's there if we can get through that?
Yeah.
As you move your way over towards the barricade and inspect it, you can tell that not only is it barricaded from this side, but that it seems to be almost packed in along every little, like every maybe 5 or 6 stairs. There seems to be extra stuff. Clearing that out would take you quite a considerable amount of time, perhaps days.
So you're saying if we went down a level, we could get into the air ducts that go.
You have no idea. You know that you could not get to the air ducts from here. If you went down a level, you might be able to boost people up into that one air duct that's overhanging, but you're not sure, and you're not close enough to really know.
And it looks so. It's just hanging into the middle of the room.
Kinda.
And how close is it to the next part? Like.
You would not be able to go through that one. You would have to double back around through the one that, through where the big gap is, where the fire smoke is going up. So if you look at your map, right? You see that little outline? Right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the center duct.
Okay.
That's where up, down, all that.
Mm-hmm. This is the one.
This
that's
is the
hanging.
one that is down,
Oh, okay.
hanging.
Can I
So
draw
you would
this?
need to, I don't care.
Okay.
I made 3 of them. So you can get into this one, maybe. You would need to check, you would need to do some crazy things possibly to get into that.
Okay.
Otherwise, they're way too far above you without stacking, let's say, 3 or 4 of you on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, there's not a vent that's available in these ducts close enough to you to get to.
Mm-hmm.
The vents seem to be in this area, so maybe that's why this one broke there.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, you're not sure how sturdy these are up here.
Mm-hmm.
That one's clearly broken. If you were going to make your way back around, you would need to circumvent the hole that is right here
And the floor.
in the vent, in the air duct.
I
Yeah.
see.
It's the up down.
But then you might even just be able to sidestep it and go through the middle one.
Yeah. Okay. And then the entrance to that is here on the first.
There isn't an entrance per se.
I'm getting-
There is an open vent that is arcing down towards the floor.
So if we go to the first floor, you might be able to boost me up
It's possible,
to the hole in that.
And then the
but it
first
looks
floor
like
is
a
where-
stretch.
And this is where the people are.
The people are down here underneath this one on the first floor, yes. And this is the room-looking area that recedes below the opposite side of the balcony and down on the first floor.
Could we conceivably go from like where we are now, this floor, to get close to that room to see, sort of inspect? A little bit?
You can see that there's a wall that would comprise the hallway from before, and you know that your visits to the library, that main hallway, goes well up so that you couldn't, like, you can reason out that there's no middle ground here between the two of those. That's all open, empty hallway. If you had a couple of sledgehammers and a way to bridge that 10 feet of nothing, you might be able to break into the second floor of the library, but that's about it.
Okay. I don't know.
Also, those people there seem kind of suspicious to me because they're clearly not guards.
No, they're clearly homeless that you have observed already.
So maybe we can kind of get them to help us up the thing. Like,
You think you want to talk to him?
I mean, if they're homeless, and I saw them the other day, and they know their way of sneaking in and out of this place, maybe they could help us sneak in and out of where we need to go.
We got a story we're going to tell him.
I mean, I've got this robe that Hermatio gave me, so I'm looking pretty ratty right now. I'm not looking any,
I think someone down there
Official
might know
myself.
me.
Yeah, that was very curious.
You want to go down there and see what's up, and I'll stay here?
Well, I mean, you didn't know if that was dangerous. That guy, you couldn't gauge whether it was friendly or.
The fire begins to dwindle. They seem to be stretching around as if they're about to go to sleep or something. They have not put it out yet, but the embers are waning.
Well, let's go talk to him.
All right, so we'll go down there.
You head down, and you can see a couple of the creatures down there. You are able to track one or two of them that go into what look like the makeshift tents, the smaller ones. But the other, I guess actually, as you make your way down, the majority of them do peel off to the side, dipping into various tents or under wrecked tables. But the Birdman stays by the fire a little longer. You can see that he seems to be taking pulls off of a flask.
I'm going to talk to them.
She can't really make out anything more than just the bare glow around him.
All right, let's go. So we'll walk up. Go.
Okay, so as you emerge out of the shadows, you can see he starts to kind of squint at you. And well, who's that? Oh, Grizz. God, I can't believe. How many years has it been?
Well, who are you?
You don't remember me? How many Aarakocra do you know?
Do I remember him?
Give me a history check.
Okay. 13.
Okay, yeah. As you squint past the mangy-looking feathers in this, what kind of looks like a creature that used to have very regal, very noble feathering, you start to kind of pick up the hint in his eyes that this is Larry Deagle from a minor noble house of Aarakocra. One of the very few minor noble houses of Aarakocra. Not a noble enough house to earn the IR prefix to their last name, but not so far from that. You remember Larry very specifically from the Brellish Army's tracker school when you were becoming a scout. Larry kind of didn't give a crap and was put there mostly because his family needed a good representative for the war. and he could have made a really good tracker, but he was terrible at covering the evidence of his being there. As you're sitting there recalling this, his feathers kind of quiff up around him, and and you catch the scent of excrement.
Oh, Larry?
Yeah,
Is that you?
yeah.
You guys know each other.
You want to pull?
Sure.
Oh,
Thanks.
You can take one too if you want.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay. Not drinking anymore? Getting back on the wagon?
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing here?
Well, you know, falling on hard times. I see that. That's seems to be universal these days.
Well, I mean, I'm homeless because I want to be. After I got my dishonorable discharge for, walking away, family kind of didn't want me around anymore, so I left. Kicked me out of the nest, and I headed to Sharn. What else was there to do, right? But I love this. Look at how big my space is.
It's pretty
It's a
noisy,
pretty big
man.
space.
And I got a place downstairs. You want to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, but don't get any ideas about staying with me. I like to have my space.
I'll try
Oh,
not
no.
to.
I mean, if you're on hard times,
All right. Let's see this place you're talking about.
Okay. So he takes you around through some of the things. He weaves a little bit. You follow him, although after a little bit of time, you start to realize, like after maybe the first 5 or 6, that he's actually rather drunk. And this weaving back and forth is almost happenstance to avoiding the broken refuse that's on the ground. As you make your way down around, he takes you to that room that seems to recede. And it's dark inside this room as you're now far away from the light. Everything is outlined in grays and whatnot for you, but it's pretty much pitch black for you. Hold on. And you see him reach through the wall, which is a hole, press it and snap his hand back really fast. And then he grabs onto the wall, and it drops. And as it does, you move down to the second. The wall in front of him is now there, where he had pressed his hand earlier. And he just pulls this haphazard spin and starts walking right by you. And you realize that the back is open and putting you into the back alleyway, like the food service corridor that would essentially be right below the hallway that divided the library and the food court.
Okay.
As he walks down the corridor, you can see that to the left there are a number of other, there's like 1, 2, what look like cold storage units. You would definitely recognize these. If Lossian was there, he would recognize them, but you know these from the way that you used to store some of the corpses for the Karnath army, where you drop them off for the necromancers, etc. When you get to the third one, you realize that the storage unit is actually missing. It's not there. But he's got all manner of like cloth and junk and whatever, like just it's almost like a little crash pad that's back in there. And he goes, by the way, I should have mentioned that there's I got a pet. I got a pet. Give me a percentile, both of you.
35.
45.
Yeah. I got a pet. His name's Pig. But, and he looks around and he gets in real close and you can smell the alcohol on his breath. And he's just like, but he's a gelatinous cube. He's just a baby. He's just a little one. I call him Pig because he makes a mess. He just leaves poop all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you probably can't see. Hold on one second. And you see him waddle, but you watch him kind of like make his way back towards the back and like reaching up, and then he like kind of jumps and does this little flutter thing with his wings to keep him aloft for a half second, and he seems to trigger some switch up top, and you just see the coming out of the wall or the ceiling or something, this tangle of tiny little lights that run along the outside of it, lighting up the interior down there. He's like, the others, they have their places upstairs, but I got this one because I got here first.
It's pretty nice. And
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. It's better than my place. Yeah.
You have a place? I thought you were on like the hard times of you're not gonna, okay.
Well, I'll go to places, It's just hard to keep it.
Place.
Oh,
You know.
huh,
Like you got a place. We
oh,
all got a place.
okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So why are you here?
If I needed to get into the library, say, like sneaky like, how would I go about doing that?
The library?
Yeah.
Why, why do you need to get in sneaky like?
Just something I need to do in there.
Are you the one that's pooping in there? Cause that's my shtick.
No. I would never want to steal your shtick. No, that's not me. Mm-mm.
You've clearly marked your territory. It's yours.
Yeah, it's all you.
Well, you're a little big, maybe, for the thing, but there's. I think those go in, and as you come back out of the little cold storage room, you look up and you can see that there are little vents, and from where you are, you could actually reach up and push the vent out of the air duct that would go across the lower part here. I think those lead into the archives. They don't let me go down there because of the shtick, but they do. I do still have my card for the second floor and the first floor because you can't get to the second floor without the first floor. Or was it first floor minus the second floor equals the basement?
So what card to use?
What?
So we can use your card?
My card? Do you look like this? And he like ruffles his feathers a little bit up there. No, I don't think so.
Do I see any? So there's an opening into that one.
There's a vent that you could easily like move out of the way and then claw into the air duct.
Okay.
You
and from
could,
looking
but you
at-
could
sure.
boost somebody
Maybe
up
give me a
into it.
boost.
And looking from our maps, like we would assume that this one is the one leading where we want it to go.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
And then you would also make me a perception check.
Okay. I will do that. That would be 18.
So you also notice as you're kind of like looking around, seeing all of the lights that are scattered in and out, that where the cold storage unit used to sit, the walls seem to have these big, long scrapes along them, as if the cold storage unit had been removed. Like a very snug fit. But the floor bears no marking of scratch or scuff.
Okay. All right. How about I help you up there and you go check it out?
Yeah, give me a boost.
Okay. I'll hang here with my friend Larry. We'll catch up.
Oh, I thought you needed to go.
I'm just gonna help her.
Well, so if I get there and I find my way, well then what? How are you gonna get in there?
I don't think I need to. Get in
You know, she might be a little. It might be a little heavy.
there. Oh, that's a good point. Maybe
Yeah.
we should come back.
With who though? Who can get up there?
Do you need somebody to go up over the? I have some friends. I'll have to wake them up. Do you have any alcohol?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll ask the other one then. He goes back over, grabs. Throughout the process of this, basically, he's gonna go back over, find a. He goes up. You can see him kind of like glancing around underneath the area, real fast before he dips into that little corridor again. pulling on the something or whatever, and it just, you hear the whoosh, and it jumps them back up to the top. About 5-ish, 6 minutes later. Well, make me another perception check while you're.
That'd be 13.
13? Okay. So, what did you get, Zaylen?
Oh, you didn't ask me to roll.
Yeah, there's lights here.
20.
Okay, so before he's able to notice it, kind of like while he's digging around looking at stuff that's in Larry's room, you see coming down the hallway a little orange cube slugging its way down. It moves closer and closer, and when it seems to get just about 15 feet away from you guys, it stops in front of a little mound of poop. And then you just see it roll and gurgle itself over, and then just kind of like settle down over it just for a little bit. And you start to see like this bubbling process that happens, which is very interesting. It's almost like champagne in a way, considering the dull lights that are lighting the top of the area in that hallway. Do you do anything?
Do I know anything about gelatinous cubes?
You don't.
Do I know anything about gelatinous?
You know they're very bad for metal.
Okay, I will like to stay away
Okay.
from that.
You guys hold your distance off. About 5-ish, 6-ish minutes later, Larry comes back down with a little kobold. And he tries to go about boosting the kobold up and wobbles back and forth a little bit. The kobold finally is able to grab on to the interior and scramble his way up. Kind of looks back down and he goes down. He goes, rushes down. You hear bump, 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 moving through the air duct. And then he comes back. What is it that I was supposed to look for?
Where's that lead?
To the library.
Is anywhere near that door where they return the books? You know what door that
What's
is?
up? What's a
Yeah, I figured.
book?
Yeah.
Oh, the things with pictures.
Yes.
Huh.
Hey, you like jingly, shiny things, right?
You got coins?
Maybe.
What?
There should.
Wait, do I know that? Uh-oh. I don't know about the keys on the wall then, do I? Was
No.
I around for that? Crap, never mind. No.
You got coins?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you want? You need me to like? What do you want me to draw you a picture of the things down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Give me the coin and I'll tell you what it is.
I don't have any thing.
I
You got a crown?
give.
I'll take a crown.
I give him a copy. Here you go.
Okay. He like jumps down, like kind of like grabs onto the side, flings back and forth a little bit, drops down on the ground, holds it out. When you put it in his hand, he like puts it on his tongue and just like lets it roll back into his mouth, and he goes, "It's that. There's one of those." And it's what the stuff that was far like behind it, what I could see, if you were to like push through it and go down into the thing, it would look like those picture things stacked on top of each other, and like little like push things that will have wheels, cart like a cart, but there was no meat on the cart. It was just more of the picture things, but not open. They were closed because I couldn't really see any of the pictures. Except maybe one or two of them had pictures on the top of them. Huh?
Yeah, that's.
If I'll give you a piece of paper, can you draw what you see?
Just paper?
And probably, I would assume, a writing utensil.
He grabs it, turns around, and he's like, la la. And he just draws a square, and he turns around and hands it back to you.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
Can I go to bed?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we know enough.
He walks back down the hallway, like rubbing his tummy. Mm. And Larry just kind of looks at you and is like, how'd that go?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You should stop back by in the daytime sometime when I remember things a little better.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
I'd like that. Thanks, Larry. I'll see you around.
Grizz!
Yeah.
Do you remember me?
Oh, yeah. We caught up. Yeah, it was great.
I'm gonna start like, I'll see you later, Larry.
Okay.
Bye, Larry.
Who are you?
I'm just gonna keep walking. So. You ready to go back to the yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to go back.
So you guys head your way towards the hole, or towards the little room, and you look around in there.
Oh, I meant like ready to like leave.
Yeah, I assume
Oh,
so.
Okay.
This is
So
the
you're-
only exit.
Okay. Do I see anything?
You see walls and a hole that looks dark.
I don't get what's happening.
Both of you make me perception checks.
Okay. Thank you. 11.
4.
All right, well, Zaylin is busy inspecting the wall, trying to figure out what's going on. You, however, are able to see the gelatinous cube has finished lunch and is heading your way.
So I see this.
You see that,
Okay.
and there's a wall with a hole in it.
I guess we'll go. Let's what's in that hole? Let's go. In
She
there.
can't see very well
Okay.
under there.
There's a hole.
I have
Right
that.
there.
Can I
You
use
better
my
watch out for that.
lantern?
Can you use your lantern?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put your lantern next to it.
Okay, so I hold my lantern out over the hole to see if I can
Also-
see anything.
Warning her about that cube coming.
Yeah, it was. Watch out for that cube over there.
Oh, okay. We need to get out of here.
Yeah,
I
So
don't
you
wanna
raise
do
up the
anything.
lantern. You can see that in the lantern or in the hole, there seems to be like a cord in there, but it's like almost convulsing as if it were a sinew. Like just kind of this membranous type thing that's wiggling back and forth.
Have you ever seen anything
I
like
don't
it?
like it.
Is it? No. Okay. Is there anything else of note? Okay. Okay.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I'll make note of that.
Okay, well, while you're making your notes, you can see the little gelatinous cube coming around, about to break the threshold. And you can hear Larry go, "Peg! Peg, don't go near the elevator!" But it doesn't stop moving. Meanwhile,
Yeah. So, leaving? We can't
we
leave.
can't- we
Is
can't
that-
how are you gonna leave?
Oh,
So
just
we can't go in
okay,
through
sorry.
the weird sinewy thing. Why did
It's a
why
hole
can't-
that you can
can't-
put your arm in that Larry has used twice.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
so
in
it's
and
the
out, like-
yeah. Okay, that's the.
Oh,
that's the
it
okay,
sounded like
then.
it was alive.
Yeah. That's, well, okay. So.
Who's grabbing it?
Whatever. I'll grab it.
As you reach through, it feels like some sort of wood that is coiling back and forth like sinew. As you do, you kind of pull your eye back a little bit and you glean underneath the face mask and part of the metal that's on there. You look at part of her neck and you notice that the wood underneath the metal exterior that she has, that is not covered by any type of skin graft, looks as though it is also slightly moving around in that same almost sinewy, gurgling, convulsing kind of.
Is it just like a loose piece? Is it attached to something?
That?
Yeah.
It's like ropes. It's like
Yeah,
vines
okay,
that are
alright.
coming down that you grab onto, and it moves. It courses back and forth in your hand. When you pull on it, you can feel it start to shudder really fast. You gonna pull your hand out, or you gonna leave it there? 3,
Pull my
2,
hand out.
Good, because it shoots back up like you've seen it do twice now. And it leaves you there. You quickly scan the ground and see that the gelatinous cube is not there.
It's just nowhere?
It's not, didn't make it into the thing. You grabbed on just in time. And you're able to make your way back to the group to report what you've seen.
Okay.
As the morning is starting to rise over the horizon. And I'm guessing that's where we're gonna need to stop for tonight. You guys can do your heist next time. How do we feel?
We want to do the heist. We want to do the heist.
Oh, I
At
mean,
least
we do
discuss
have,
the
we've
heist.
got about 10 minutes, but that's gonna be like, if we do that, like that's putting us right up on 10 o'clock. So you guys can discuss the heist right now, but I doubt that you've got.
At least
Discuss the heist, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'll give you
Can we
guys,
discuss
we'll
what
do
we-
5 minutes
what we
now,
learned?
and then we can do recap and all that stuff on the next one.
Okay.
Let's at least discuss what we learned.
Yeah. What type of things do we find out?
So there's a guy named Larry down there, and there's a bunch of people living in the food court, and we found a way to get into the air duct.
Where does the air duct lead?
It leads right what sounds like the return.
Which goes right to the
Sorting room?
sorting room.
Perfect.
And then we can leave through this hole in the wall thing.
Was Larry the one that you knew when you fell through the door before?
Yeah, or
Well,
maybe.
Might
Yeah,
have been,
must
but
have
it
been.
certainly was the person that everybody was complaining about leaving things, smelling
Oh,
things all over the
that-
place.
Why?
That round.
Why
Yes.
did he know you?
Yeah, we know
I don't
each
know.
other from the past, you know. Yeah.
All right.
But we know, so we know that there's a way in. What did you guys find?
We found the door is locked as we assumed. That there is an alarm in the room. There is a big book that is an alarm of some sort. I did not find out more about the big book, but it has to be. It makes a lot of noise if disturbed, apparently.
Screaming alarm.
Yes, there are the keys hang on a board, which is in the second office by the librarian. I point on the map. I'm like, here in these offices here. Apparently, it is very obvious that the keys are in there, but that is where they are located. That is the main thing that I took from these. Yes.
Did you spend all the money?
Yes.
Did we tell them about Larry's pet?
Oh yeah, he's got one of those squishy cubes.
Squeezy cube.
I can't
yeah,
be near
I
it.
don't know. Jiggly cube. What do you call it?
Cube?
I don't
A
know.
pillow?
I don't know. It just slithers around.
Is it a gelatinous cube?
That's what it. Oh, I'd say I'll describe it like that. Yeah.
All right.
Do I know anything about gelatinous cubes?
All I know is we probably need to stay away from it.
Dude,
That's
the-
fine.
He probably knows quite a bit about it. You've not done you've mostly been a city boy.
I live in the city, yes.
Yeah, I would say that you might have some idea of it
Could make
from
an Arcana.
stories. It wouldn't be Arcana,
All right.
but you definitely have experience with these, and you've actually seen what happens to people who come in contact with it, and especially what happens to metals that come in contact with it. Zaylin, you also might have some small amount of recognition after he starts to describe it.
Okay.
Do you all recount everything that happened, or do you only recount what you just said?
Well, I
Well,
mean,
let's
in the
just say
interest of
for
time, can we
brevity,
say that we did?
We
We
yeah.
can focus on all the key points, I guess.
Well, actually, I guess Rudy, adjudicate this. I think you said that Larry knows how to cover his tracks. That's something that Grizz knows, but Grizz
No,
did
he's
not
bad at it.
recount.
Larry's
He's
bad
bad
at
at
covering his tracks.
Yeah.
That's how come he got kicked out.
There's some homeless people down there that might help, but I don't think they're very reliable.
But at least they won't be in our way,
We can go in-
or
And
in
I don't even
a
think they'll
danger
remember
to us.
seeing us.
You
You
said,
can go in after they go to sleep.
but
Yeah.
you said the air duct was too small for you. You are too heavy. Is anyone else here that would be able to fit, or do we need to conscript the kobold to climb through?
I'm fairly
No.
light, but
According to the
Kinda
dimensions,
average.
you should be able to crawl through it.
do I think that?
You're probably small enough that you could make your way through it on your hands and knees. Rose would be an acceptable substitute.
Right.
Lawsian might also be able to make his way through.
Great.
The elves, they are very slight. They don't weigh as much as the warforged. Yes.
All right. Well, sounds like we might not need them, but I've made the library cards and I've falsified things. Here's yours.
What is
Congratulations.
it?
You are now known as Daisy Tesser.
Oh, Daisy Tesser.
Matio,
Okay.
you're Gendar Lithbane.
Indar
Lassian, you are Lindel Swarmsong.
Liftbane was my
Zaylan, your new name is Flywheel.
Oh, I like.
And
I used
Grizz,
to know a flywheel.
how do you feel about Tiny Fuzz Knuckles?
Ah, I like this name for him.
The eyes just like twitching out a little bit.
Blood pressure check. And you can send me those on Slack later.
41.
Okay.
Pass you your card. What is that?
The book card.
Oh yeah, and the book card as well.
So I'll take it off the
So-
table and like scrape the claws of the table as I like just pull it in.
Should they give him the other one?
Do you
All
know-
right, all right.
does
I'm
does
kidding
anybody-
about that one, especially because that's just a bit of paper with a name on it. Here's your real one, Simon Snarltooth. A little bit better.
Does anybody have any rope?
Sure.
I have rope.
I like how what he slid across first that you like grabbed and started is literally just a piece of paper that has that name on it. Like you didn't even look at anybody else's cards. You're just like, I trust you. I don't know what this. I almost lost this all over my computer. Gah.
What was the name?
Huh?
What was the name?
Simon
So
Snarltooth.
Simon Snarltooth.
Simon Snarl.
So I know we do not have a lot of time right now, but this is what I'm thinking off the top of my head. 3 of us, perhaps more of us, can go through with the library cards so we are down on the 2nd level like we're supposed to be. Is it
You know,
what
I think that
Wait.
for this purpose, giving you guys the time to think about it over the next week is actually going to be much more satisfying for me and for everyone else in the room there. Instead of rushing to a hasty plan made in 4 minutes, taking a little bit of time to think about it beforehand and then coming to the table with it ready to go might be a better way to spend the time and not make some sort of interesting mistake. But you guys will need, basically by the time, we'll need to know when you guys are going to go in, like what's phase in the day really, and the method you intend to go in, and how you intend to deal with the certain obstacles that have been presented for you.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for coming and hanging out with Maze Arcana. I saw some of the subs flying through there, and I saw your little bidding wars and stuff like that. And those are big bidding wars to us. We appreciate that because it's all about the thought and the care, and of course, you being number one. That's what's important. But we do appreciate the subs, guys. Since we've started this thing, we've gone up like, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 subs, which is a great help
Wow,
to the
nice.
channel and allows us to keep making really great content like this stuff that we do in Eberron and some of the new things that we have. And I know I say that a lot. You guys hear that stuff a lot because we always have things in the work and things we can't talk about. But over the next couple of months, we should have even more streams coming up. And you guys are how we are being able to afford that and put it together. So thank you guys for helping us continue to provide for the community and to be a part of it. We appreciate that. Everybody, go ahead and let's start down here. And why don't you tell them who you are and where else they can find you, even though obviously this is your home.
B. Dave Walters. I am at B. Dave Walters on all the socials. I am here. I am on We're Live Frontier on Project Alpha right now. The Rundown Predator web series from the Predator official fan app, and soon to be returning for Ask Your Black Geek Friend on Geek and Sundry, and anywhere Satine will have me.
Meow. I am Satine Phoenix at Satine Phoenix on all the things. You can find me every Tuesday on Dungeon Mastering Sirens of the Realms, all-girl bard band on twitch.tv/DND. But Maze Arcana is my homestead. I co-created with that guy, Ruti Rutenberg, and I love it here. And we are traveling the world this summer, speaking the happiness that we love of D&D and Maze Arcana. So yeah, those are the things.
I am Kai Norman, and you can find me on most of the things from Yo Kai Props. You can also find a podcast that I do with Ryan Omega and Cynthia Marie, and you can find that under Life Action Roleplay. It's on Podbean and iTunes. So.
Signeutron. You can find me at twitch.tv/Signeutron, sculpting and doing fun stuff like that. Or Tuesday nights at 9, right after Satine's show at twitch.tv/Dungeon Queens.
Anything this weekend?
And at Monster Palooza, we'll be at booth number 2 with lots of goodies, sculptures, and fun stuff. So.
I'm Nora Ibrahim. You could find me at Nora Logical on Instagram and on Twitter. And if you are a contemporary art and design fan, you can check out my blog at myampgoes211.tumblr.com. And I believe there's a link to that in my Twitter and Instagram.
I'm Kyle Vogt. You can find me at Kyle Vogt on Twitter and find the other things that way. And I think I'm the National Security Advisor for... I just got fired.
Oh, you're a collaborator. Yeah.
Polarity.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a you were or?
No comment.
Right.
All right. I'll talk to Mr. Mueller and that's
And where they can find you and your things, sir?
So you guys can find me at Rudy Woot on all the things, and I wanted to make sure that we had a very fond and very strong thank you to all of you out there in the community. All of our awesome Arcanites. I think even somebody called it Maisies the other day, which I thought was really cute. Yeah. And we appreciate all you guys, even some of you that came over during Satine's stream on Sirens of the Realm, sub to Maze Arcana while you were watching Sirens of the Realm. I saw at least 3 of those, and I will be writing all of those down and rattling them off a little bit later. And don't forget that we have this show. We have Sirens on Tuesdays with Satine. And I do maze plays and sometimes have some special guests as we run through different things. This week was Cuphead. Having a little bit of fun with that. First time I played it. We also would like to say thank you to D&D Beyond, Wormwood, Idle Champion, Sirenscape, Axe and Shield, Hammered Tables, Wormwood, Whiz Kids, and, of course, Black Magic and D&D. And we would like to let you know that we will be at ZCon. We will be at Origins.
Oh, wait. We will be at Jasper's Game Day.
Oh, is that what it's called?
Yes, because ZCon is actually a whole different convention.
Oh.
Yeah. So that is April 21st. That is a Saturday. And so we are going to fly out there, and it is raising money for a suicide prevention charity. And we will be talking about, we're doing workshops on how to be a dungeon master, how to write games, and all those things.
And then Origins, D&D in a castle, and Gen Con, and so on and so on and so on. And we'll keep updating you guys with those throughout the announcements. But that's what we're up to, and we will see you again here next week. Thanks for coming and hanging out and playing some Noir with us. And we'll have some new updates coming out soon for this specific thing on the Patreon. And we're also trying to roll into a maybe after show for Patreon members who can just come in and ask us some questions. We'll do a real fast recap about how the characters felt about individual things that happened during the episode. Without further ado, we're going to sign off and let you guys go to bed or go to work if you are Rose.
Yes. The night shift, yes.
Goodbye, good night. We'll see you again next week.
I feel like that was a good beginning. Let's figure something out to keep going with that. We'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Have a wonderful week. Thanks for coming to Inkwell.